I don't.
Read it or not, we're reading the best anime that's ever been produced prior to its release. The Kagurabachi.
Flawless.
Kagurabachi sweep. I'm so ready.
Kagurabachi has been popular and famous ever since the week before it was officially released in Shonen Jump for the first time.
I like that this does feel like the first line of a kid's book report. Kagurabachi has been popular in these regions.
Kagurabachi is
actually, Ben, are you reading from something?
Webster's Dictionary.
Yeah, this is the Wikipedia article.
Defines Kagurabachi. Oh, can you is there a Kagura wiki?
Is there a Kagurabachi translation? Because I have been reading this whole thing waiting to hear about what the Kagurabachi is going to be.
I think bachi means bowl, right?
When the title drops, Grant, you're going to explode.
It's gonna. Well, I'm just afraid that it's like it's already dropped and I didn't realize it because it was like translated to English or something. Like if you told me Kagurabachi like meant like enchanted blades, I'd have to believe you.
MangaDeck says its translation is Kagura Bowl.
Bowel? I thought this was bowl.
B-O-W-L.
Yeah, bowl.
That's a bowl.
Bowel.
What? That's a word you should know, Tyler.
Should we be doing a manga show?
Look,
okay,
titles, names are interchangeable.
They are. So like Kagura, like the traditional definition of Kagura is like it's from like a Shinto traditional stuff, so like Shinto music and dancing and shit. That's like usually what Kagura comes from. Not all the time, but usually that's like it's usually like an old there's like also like a trope of like a type of character in Japanese stories, like that is a girl based on a lot of those old timey Japanese tropes called like an Nadeshiko that comes from like a same kind of thing. Like Kagura and Nadeshiko, like usually like you'll see those interchange with like this character likes old Japanese things. That's usually how that goes. And then bachi, according to G-Show, the most accurate Japanese to English dictionary, says that it is divine punishment, curse, or retribution in its most common form. So,
oh man, so like the title is basically literally we're gonna go Old Testament on them. Like it's like
basically
we're like this is gonna be an old-fashioned style punishment.
Yeah, and with the or like retribution or something, like all kind of kind of the same vibe. Okay,
retribution for traditional cultural things.
Or I think the retribution is just traditionalist flavored, which makes the most sense with like kind of what you see in this.
So the greatest manga is called Capital Punishment.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. Just wanted to figure that out.
Yeah, we just want to get that on the platform because now that the bill is vacated, we need to start putting our platform together so we can run.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we've got the platform of Kagurabachi here, which I would support. I'd vote for it. I feel like Chihiro would make a great leader.
Is there
how you say his name?
Chihiro.
Chihiro is like if you're gonna.
We haven't talked about this basically at all, so I don't know the pronunciation of like any name I'm in. So it's gonna be
great.
Grant, I have the perfect video for you. Can you play this video?
Yes, I can. Just for you. Oh, hold on. Let me turn this off. Oh, they're not talking.
Yep. Give me a second.
Shiba, Kyoda, Sojo, Chihiro, Hakuri, Kogara, Mr. Natsu.
Okay, this kid has better reading comprehension than me.
So, yeah, Char, now, Yuki, Aka, Ainting, Kuro, Shiki.
Hey, you got it. There you go. There's the whole cast.
All right.
That's all of us going to try to pronounce the names.
Yeah. Look forward to me not saying any of this right.
Yo, that's great. That kid's going to go far. First impressions. I like starting these off with a like, what did you get coming into it? So after hot on the heels of Jujutsu Kaisen, I don't know who pitched this originally. It doesn't really matter, but Kagurabachi was a meme a while ago.
Yes.
Everybody saw. There's even a Know Your Meme page for, as the kids call it, Kagurabachi glazing, as in coming on it. If you didn't know the etymology of that. And then, there was just nonstop, you know.
I missed all these memes. I'm gonna have to like go back and check them out.
There's
Like,
some
that's a
pretty
good
good
bit.
ones.
I like
yeah,
that.
that's a good one.
I
The meme
genuinely
was a thing for like 2 weeks, so I guess if you were just out for a little bit, you would have missed it.
And there's before it even came out, as Ben was setting up, there was already some idea of Kagurabachi in the public eye, and most of it was just Lamau. Here's just a funny version of this little picture
Did
of him
people
drawing
just
a sword.
see that panel and think it was funny? Like I'm
I
curious,
don't
like
know
how
the
it kind of erupted. Like,
well,
the
why don't we read the
etymology
Know
of it.
Your Meme article, Grant?
Yeah, please. Let's all get educated here real quick.
In September 10th, 2023, a color preview of the upcoming shonen manga series Kagura Space Capital B Bachi, a panel of the main
What?
character Chihiro unsheathing a katana was revealed. On September 13th, an X user
Ew,
made
ew.
a greater than post stating that Kagurabachi is a greater manga than Boruto, with the tweet gaining over 50 retweets and 180 likes. That's
okay. That's a
Pretty-
modest
Pretty
amount.
small.
that's nothing. Later that day,
In a whole
Redditor
week.
Forzenbruh posted a screenshot of the post in the R Kagurabachi subreddit. Who is on the subreddit before this even existed?
Yeah, the Kagurabachi subreddit
They
for
don't
the
even-
announcement on Jump.
Are they like jumping on like, oh shit, we gotta hold on, we gotta
Well,
they're
look,
open
here, when your
Reddit
whole
mod
life
slot.
is talking
It has
about
been-
manga, you're gonna try and be on the ground floor of all of them, and like just in case one takes
Very
off.
true.
Like,
Hold on, I'm not like centering this at all with the way.
do you
this is
understand
set up.
how many dates the
Do I
guy
do,
who says
like-
I was reading Naruto before it was an anime gets on a weekly
Yeah.
basis?
Yeah,
You could
no.
be him for Kagurabachi glazing.
I could be, but I don't think I'll ever be that cool.
I'm gonna see if what is this called? Hanma 10, the new series they just dropped this weekend, has a
Does it already have a
subreddit.
subreddit?
Oh yeah, does it have a
Okay.
subreddit? Because you could be the moderator. You're their biggest fan.
Mhm.
In the following days, multiple posts presenting Kagura Space Bachi as one of the greatest manga series of all time went
I really
viral
don't like
on
that.
Twitter
Space-
/X and later on TikTok and Reddit, for example. Blah 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 blah, blah
It
whatever.
fucking does. It fucking does.
Massive popularity on X and TikTok. Photo slideshow, 1 million views. Just a bunch
Okay.
of- that's it. Somebody made a stupid
So,
post saying
okay,
it was better
gotcha.
than Boruto, and
This
then
all spawned out of it being better than Boruto.
which I think
Yeah, I
I would
just-
agree with.
I think I would also probably agree.
The only thing I saw of it was just like someone like making a post of like they like made a screen cap looking like a screen cap of an anime looking version of it, and they said, "Oh, I can't believe the anime is the best anime in the world." Right as the first chapter of the manga came out.
Oh yeah, that I remember seeing something like that floating around too.
Yeah, I loved
And-
all the Kagurabachi's like fifth opening was probably my favorite, but hearing the second one live was like it kind of changed my life.
I
Rocket
don't
Lamp,
feel like
hold
the
on. I
SEO
don't.
for it's kind of been ruined a bit because when the actual anime is announced, it's going to be hard to tell between that and the fake ones.
I don't think so. I think it'll still be pretty obvious between
Well,
the
we
ones
have
that were
a-
uploaded
Hopefully.
2 years ago.
Yeah, here's
Yeah.
an official trailer uploaded 9 months ago.
Oh, you have an official trailer already?
Official
here you go.
trailer.
Holy shit! All right, this is an exclusive sneak peek. We have the
Yeah, I
official
still get
trailer.
the
If you're watching,
those emails.
listening to this audio, then I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to imagine what I imagine is going to be the coolest trailer this side of 2024.
Whoa. Toho, I had no piece of
Oh
this.
my
I know
God.
this is all not allowed to be shown in public. I disavow everything the Good Time Zone has ever done.
Whoa! Whoa!
Wow. Look at all those.
We're
moving
seeing
manga
some
pictures.
animated manga panels.
It looks
still in
so
pre-production.
good.
So of course they just use the manga.
Wow, that was the official
Wow.
trailer. 1 million views already.
All right.
Yeah, that's a lot more than they showed for that one anime that they just dropped. What was it? Hell Teacher, whatever.
Hell
Teacher
Teacher
Nube?
Nube.
Hell Teacher, whatever.
You jump Ultimate
I
Stars,
haven't
not
read
playing
him.
fuck.
That's not even on our list. I don't know anything about him.
I
We're
haven't
not
read it
here to
either,
talk
'cause-
about
Not allowed
Hell
to
Teacher
talk
Nube.
about it.
I didn't
yeah.
see him in his trailer. I saw Kagurabachi in his trailer though.
All I saw was John's retweet of this guy going, I wonder what socks the girl is going to be wearing. That's all I know.
Gotta
That's-
focus
that's
on
the
the
most
important,
important part.
aspects. Yeah.
So like the memery took everybody by storm. X users were flocking, chomping at the bit to hype up Kagura Space Bocce. And then at some point, I don't know when this started happening, but I started hearing rumblings of, it wasn't from y'all, it was just like through the grapevine, Twitter, Twitch chat somewhere.
You had your
somebody's
ear to the ground.
somebody was like, no, Kagurabachi is like actually good. Like it is actually very good. I was like, oh, that's a shock to me. I figured it was just like a shit post.
Worth a read.
Yeah, I mean, the first I heard that was from you, but then again, I stay off Twitter for, I think,
To
genuinely
avoid such things.
important reasons.
Because Ben's algorithm is inexorably fucked. Like he's trying
Twitter
really hard to
hates me,
fix
dude.
it.
It
Yeah, it's really
really
bad for
hates
you. I'm
me.
sorry. And they if we want to go into our grand summary thoughts and stuff here, I think they might be right. I think it's actually pretty good.
I really enjoyed it. Like, I felt it was a bit clunky in some places, but overall, everything just like hit really hard for me. Like, I don't know, the kind of story stuff they're doing here is the stuff that really resonates with me. Like I'd say I immediately appreciated it a lot more than Jujutsu Kaisen, which apparently everyone here would have already suspected based on how much they know I hate it.
Of course.
Seemingly.
I'm happy that you like it though. I think I remember telling you like they did a thing that I really enjoyed, and I was like, oh, I think Ben's gonna like this, and I'm happy that you do.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to break down. I think there's some really cool moments, and there's only for context, this is only chapter 42.
42
Yeah.
came out
Is the
today.
one that just came out today as of this recording. So that's where we are in it, and this along with Jujutsu Kaisen is going to be something that I think, you know, if we're giving everything a ready, I think it's going to be one we keep up with every week, and we're going to check back in, see what's up.
Yeah, I'd say
and
so.
Yeah, I'm digging it enough that I think I plan on reading every chapter as they come.
Yeah,
I
that's,
I was
mean,
digging it.
Even if I didn't like it, I'd probably read it.
Yeah, you just love reading manga, even if you don't enjoy it.
It is my favorite thing. I bought an iPad, $800 just to read.
Man. But you read enough manga that definitely feels like it would be.
I
worth it.
read I counted it. It's like I check almost every 7 hours or more, like multiple times a day, fucking manga decks in my entire catalog of 30 different things just to see what's updated.
Man.
and I want to get to
feel
that
like I
point
could
with
never
this.
get
This is
that
going to
stuff.
be I think this will be a fun thing to eventually get us to some level of keeping up with a bunch of shit. Because I think it'll be
I would
fun.
love that. Yeah.
But does somebody want to give a plot summary breakdown of this elevator pitch TLDR? Somebody ready
You
to
could
go?
do that unless Grant and Tyler, did you have any general thoughts that you wanted to present forward first?
I'll say that early on, I was kind of I wouldn't say I disliked it or anything, but I was kind of just all right, this seems fine, it's whatever.
Mhm.
But it wasn't until we can get into it when we actually get there describing different stuff. But basically, the first real showdown with Sojo, I think,
Yeah.
was when I started being oh, I'm digging how this works. I like the I feel like maybe it's just because maybe it's from jumping to from so many more longer running series to this, but I feel like this one's just kind of just moving fast, which I like. I feel
Yeah.
like it I
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like it's paced very quickly, and I
Feels very modern.
yeah, and it's and it doesn't feel rushed, and it doesn't feel like they're just glossing over things, but it feels like there are a lot of situations where and it's funny because I feel like it knows it's doing this, where there will be times where it's oh, we're gonna have to pull back, oh, we're gonna have to retreat, we're gonna have to do this thing, we're gonna have to step back a second, we better take this carefully, we better do it slowly.
Yeah.
And then the
yeah.
character kind of just goes we don't have time, we're going. and I'm just yes, thank you. I feel like every manga needs a character to stand up and do that. Please.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a very fun and it helps it gives you a setup. It gives you an idea of oh, this is why rushing in, why that isn't their first solution. It isn't the first answer to rush in, but
Yeah.
character's gonna be nah, we gotta do it. You're yeah, it helps raise the stakes.
Our
of it in a
hand
good
has
way.
been forced, so we will rush in.
Yeah, I love it.
Tyler,
yeah,
what do you
but-
think?
I like it.
Okay.
There he goes.
He likes it so much that
Did
he
y'all-
remembers
did
how the
any
plot
of y'all
goes. Ready
happen
to
to
go.
read? Did any of y'all happen to read any of the other things that they did prior
No.
to
The
Kagurabachi?
one-shots.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I have
you
not.
you showed a couple of them. One had the sumo wrestler character in it.
Yeah, he's got. Let me pull it up on my thing. He's got one called Chain. He did I think 4 one-shots prior to Kagurabachi, and they all they all have something in there that you can see in stayed at the very end. Like in one of them, he's got like a Naruto and Sasuke characters. And in that world, they have their power manifests as creatures. Like he's got like a bird that shows up behind him, and that's kind of like the fish and the jellyfish that show up later.
Okay.
I mean, there's one shot that's just called N10, right? So he's definitely planning on something like this for a while.
I love
Yeah.
when creators only have one idea.
Yeah,
I love it
Just,
genuinely.
iterations
that
of
means they have
same
It's that one.
mined it to the
passion, yeah.
core idea.
Yes, I'm not being sarcastic. I love seeing that in an artist's work. I love seeing that shit like come to fruition.
I mean, it's very natural to do that. Like I did that for myself for comic stuff because I like
That's same.
made characters. I made this pumpkin man called Hero like 10 years ago, and I kept trying to find something to put him in, so I kept inserting him into every new project I tried.
I have
love
to give
it.
him a
It's
purpose.
So cool. I love that shit. I mean, same thing too. So maybe it's just part of me likes being validated because I've also been the same boat. Of been working on the same story for 10 years in different flavors, and it's just nice to see other creatives doing that and succeeding. I'm like, oh, okay, doesn't mean I'm a hack.
But as far as plot synopsis, so it kind of kicks off. We see Chihiro, last name here,
Roku
and
Hira.
Roku Hiro, which I should know because it's actually very important. Making swords with his swordsmith master father.
Hang on, I can pull up the first little visual here.
Yeah. And they kind of like I really liked this introduction actually. I know I said it kind of took a second for me to warm up to it, but this first like page I thought like really like got me because I thought it looked cool just seeing like the color, the swords being forged, like it just kind of immediately kind of sucked me in for that. And just felt like a cool presentation for it.
It's funny you mentioned that because I was completely the opposite. I was like, oh, making a sword, whatever. I completely was turned off by this. I thought this was dumb and stupid and just really generic. I'm like, okay, here's your
chapter
shonen.
1 as a whole was very generic.
Yeah, like chapter 1 in its entirety was incredibly unimpressive. But holy fuck, I'm happy I kept with it. Like but I just want to interject with that I thought it was funny that you really were like down with this, and I just completely opposite. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, the thing is, I got personally like invested in an idea that was never followed up on. Maybe it will be at some point, but it just seemed like Chihiro was kind of just like I don't know, like weirdly like he looked very disinterested in everything. Except he was still like doing everything he could to follow in his dad's footsteps. And so I thought there was going to be like some kind of like family drama there that hasn't really been touched on. So I was like, oh, well, that'll be interesting to see. But
I think we'll keep seeing that as it goes. I think that's a well to be gone back to like frequently.
But yeah, we catch them making swords and kind of just talking about the process of sword making. And we get like the impression that Chihiro's dad is kind of a goofy guy, but he definitely knows what he's talking about. But Chihiro seems like way more serious than him in like every interaction. Like it's like got his kind of goofy dad with his like goldfish that he likes and talks to, and Chihiro's just like, my dad's a goofy weirdo, but you know, he's a master at what he does and prolific about it. So I probably got some knowledge to pick up, even if he just seems like a goofball.
Yeah,
and oh yeah, you got it.
And then like I like the initial character thing because this gets cashed in very well. We get the thing with the goldfish, the relationship that his dad has with these, and the fact that he like can't take care of them. Like his dad's kind of dumb. Like he's really good at blacksmithing. He's very invested in his craft, and we find out he is a legendary blacksmith who's the best ever at blacksmithing crazy swords, and is not so good at anything else that like involves taking care of himself. So Chihiro had to be like okay, well, I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna do every other thing because you will forget to take a shit if you are not told to. And so through that dynamic, you start to see like Chihiro's ability to take care of himself and his dad come through, which
and when the dad brings the fish home, he talks about how like what they represent. Like the black represents dispelling evil, the red is bringing in good fortune, and the multicolored one is really rad.
Yeah, that one
I just like it.
It's supposed to be totally amazing. You don't say. Yeah, that's it.
So that might be thematically relevant.
Yeah. And then that's a fun little twist. I can see what they're doing already, just as a like, just as a creator. It's like the goldfish is a fun little twist. Like it's a narrative device that you don't see often.
Character to it, yeah, a bit of spice there.
Okay, like if you've ever played or tried to write something, if you ever played a D&D campaign, it's like a classic thing that people do, like to make a character, flesh a character out, is you give them likes and dislikes, and it's more memorable. Like Araki talks about this, and I'll keep revisiting that because that book's great, and we should talk about it at some point. It's good to give a character something unique or weird, so like people remember. Like the goldfish is going to stand out because that is not something you see very often talked about. Like
the
at least in this
noble
context.
goldfish is normally not like the the spirit you conjure for your fighter.
Yeah,
not quite on the level of tiger or dragon. So
it's a fun wrinkle in that sense where I'm like, okay, this author clearly knows what they're doing because they're doing something unique. Like that and it was a good hook for me too, where I was like, ooh, okay. The goldfish thing seems like a fun narrative device, and they cash it in very well. I love this stupid face that the dad is making. Sorry, audio watchers, you're just gonna have to audio listeners. You'll have to watch later.
Idea.
I guess should I bring this up now? Because like I had a whole thing about the faces. I feel like I might be wrong about this. It feels like the artist might be bad at expressions, or maybe I'm just misinterpreting something, because it feels like a lot of the expressions are very stiff. The half-lidded look doesn't like change enough with the rest of the facial features to really show much. And I actually grabbed a couple of clips, for example, that I can share.
Ben did his homework.
I did my homework. Okay, because we've got this one here, which is kind of just emblematic of what I typically see from these expressions, which is a half-lidded look. This one's from Mr. Shiba, who's going to be introduced in chapter 1. And it's a half-lidded look, but the mouth is just like really wide open, and it gives this weird looking expression that it's just like, it stands out to me. It's something weird.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, is this on purpose? Like, I think maybe for Chihiro, it at least is on purpose. He's kind of like deadpan, and especially because they make a joke about it.
I feel like they talk a lot about how he's always keeping a cool head kind of thing. Like it is just like he's constantly kind of one note.
Yeah, but they make a joke about it, saying Chihiro was like, "Yeah, I was really surprised back then," and the guy's remembering his expression. It was just this blank face. Yeah. So for Chihiro, I think that's intentional, but also for Mr. Shiba, maybe I can't really tell, because this panel here is just like things are heating up, and it just his face looks dead.
I can't remember his name. Sojo.
Yeah,
the first big villain.
Yeah,
first
he was
big villain.
having a bunch of fun faces, but they were all kind of samey.
Yeah, I don't think who made this, the author's name.
What's this name?
Wow. I have it right here. Oh my god.
Real fans here.
I'm a real fan. Takeru Hokazono. I don't think they're bad at faces. I think this is intentional. I'm gonna say that, like, because
I think to a degree
there's a lot of faces on other characters not too far from this that I think are very dynamic and very good, and help illustrate them. You know what I see? It's funny you say that you hate these, because I looked at these and I'm like, oh, this guy loves One Piece, because these are One Piece faces to me.
See, I don't. For me, the eyes, like, and maybe I'm missing context from these panels. I don't remember exactly what the scenarios are for him. But Mr. is it Shiba? Is that his name?
Teleporty guy,
yeah, teleporty guy. I kind of got the vibe that he was kind of just always sarcastic. Like it's just he's saying things and his face is telling you how he really feels. Like it's like this thing where it's like, oh yeah, huge bummer. Like he doesn't like, but he's like, it's not a big deal. Or like things are heating up, but I'm pretty sure this is a fight with Chihiro that he knows Chihiro's gonna win.
Yeah, I got that impression too.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel intentional in a lot of places. I found another example that I had clipped as it's just like inner monologue. It's like, I'm shocked. It's giving me chills. And his face is just the most deadpan face.
Yeah, like
so
that's clearly
I do think
a joke.
that's intentional there. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I noticed it for a lot of characters. Their expressions seem kind of stiff. I think that's something that he's still working on, is subtlety of expression.
I think one of my favorite moments in this entire manga is how good an expression turns out. So I don't know. I think there is some degree of like there could be maybe a little more variety in the subtler expressions, but I think the dynamic ones, like the ones that are important, I feel like he nails.
And I think another
he knows how to do it. Like it's just like I don't think it's quite at the level that I'm used to seeing from most like other mangas I'm looking at. So it's not like a complaint. It's just an interesting. This is okay. I do want to say, just to
Wow,
cover
Ben
myself a
hates
little
it,
bit.
huh?
Yeah. Another shocker. Ben hates it.
I love finding little things I can nitpick in manga because that means I can like study them and learn from them and find they're not just gods and I can try to reach that level.
No,
so
dude,
I love seeing stuff like that.
I completely I'm not busting your balls or anything. Completely agree with you. I love finding that shit as well, especially in like games or especially card games, shit like that.
So when I point out problems with manga, especially manga I like, which I already said I do like this one, it's because I want to be like, oh man, I could find this. I can find myself near the level of this, and I can critique it from the perspective of a mangaka myself.
You totally can. I totally believe that. And I don't think you're being too nitpicky or anything. I think you do have some good examples here, but I think for at least some of the ones that you brought up, I think they were mostly intentional. But
I think half of the ones I posted were very intentional, and half of them were kind of just weird expressions. I think he makes his mouth too big for the subtle expressions. Is probably what happens.
Too big. This guy loves One Piece, and the mouths are too big.
Well, not too big, too far open.
I'm joking.
They make sense with One Piece.
Yeah, Luffy having
their mouths are always big.
Oda does it right
when they're doing a bombastic emotion, but
Goda.
They should be smaller when they're not yelling.
Yeah, I like the one that you posted. Like, I feel like this mouth is upside down.
Yeah, it's just weirdly placed.
Yeah, or like should be up and to the left more.
Like I guess this face in particular was the one that really made me feel like he's being sarcastic here, because like I can almost see this being animated with him just be like, yeah, what a bummer, like rolling his eyes or something,
and like
but
really
making that big
his
mouth.
jaw.
Yeah, like ugh.
But that was just my observation of just like the expression work behind this, and it's definitely not all bad. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a little off in a lot of places.
No, I do get what you're saying.
The mismatched eyes and mouths are the main culprit.
Yeah, and there's some characters who don't have eyes like this either, and it feels like they're from like some characters have like what I like internally. I was like, okay, so this is like a One Piece character, and this is like a different manga character. Like some characters have the really thick, cartoony, simple eyes and like facial features, and then other characters have very detailed eyebrows and eyes and like all this other shit. And I'm just like, it is kind of a contrast, but I don't think it's bad. I think it just makes some of the people that matter like fine.
I'm okay with that, especially because it provides a lot of variety to the face types, which is notoriously a problem with a lot of anime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like it just tells you like the one little girl just has bigger, rounder eyes, and that's just saying that she's a softer character and everything.
Is
and
she in chapter
that even
1?
shows you?
I don't think she is.
No, she's in chapter.
No. She doesn't show up for a few chapters. I
want to say like 3 or 4.
But you do also see the one shop girl in chapter 2, but and that also goes for her.
Yeah. So let's finish talking about chapter 1 just to finish summarizing it. Sure. Chapter 1 kind of just skips forward after getting to know his dad, and then and then it shows like after a time skip, Chihiro's an adult now. He's traveling with Mr. Shiba, and they see a town controlling a Yakuza, or town controlled by like a Yakuza gang, and with magicians
someone
in
using magic.
A short 38 months later.
Yeah, there are surprise. This is not just like LOL. We make swords. There is magic in this world.
Yep.
And
I think this is the first instance we see anything of magic.
Like, so you don't see magic until this part, and then you get this. I loved this shot where like the tree is growing into this guy. Like that is so brutal. That is such a good image, and this is
tree just growing out of the ground, and branches just kind of start sticking into his face around him.
Yeah,
this is gonna come
enough
back
to hold him and everything.
This is gonna come back more and more. With the kind of so we talked about earlier, like the meaning of the name, like Kagura being a traditional, like, I mean, that's the definition I'm going off of. I could be wrong, but like the traditionalist Shinto, very like nature spirit shit coming from this. So I feel like this already sets the tone of a lot of the themes that we see later on, that especially in the latest chapters, like the last 2, like, oh shit, like what is your power? What is this power? And a lot of them are nature. Like, and not just like, oh, you got like, fire, lightning, whatever, but like flowers have shown up as like a thing, and I like seeing, like, I think that is going to be the consistent theme for like at least a lot of the magic stuff, or like anything like a bigger conflict character is going to have something like like traditional elemental or traditional nature oriented. Like these trees are very much kind of like looking like bonsai trees in a way too, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
And
Which, at least now that we're re-examining chapter 1, I'm noticing that like maybe the clans or whatever all had like, just not to go into it because this is another tattoo guy.
yes, this is one of the members.
Yeah, and we later see another one who also manipulates trees. So I wonder if that's what their organization's all about.
Yeah.
Is that like their thing?
I could see that.
Yeah, I could see that. So we see the I just want to point that out before detracting from the summary too hard, but the next thing that happens is you see a bit with this guy getting hit by affected by the bonsai tree, and then yeah, the sorcerer guy like disappears in flame and stuff. A lot of like classical elemental shit. They're on a train in a time skip, and the same guy that was introduced in the beginning, Mr. Shiba, seems to be a long friend of his dad, family friend. And now they're just talking about, oh yeah, you guys. Now Chihiro has a scar where he didn't have a scar before, implying that there was some big battle that happened.
Some conflict took place.
And then I love this fucking edgelord monologue. It was so.
I kind of hated this when I heard this part. I was like rolling my eyes a bit.
I was too. Every morning when I wash my face and look in the mirror, I see this scar and I remember that day. So every day I start the morning with fresh hatred.
That feels like it's directly lifted from like Kurapika, I think is one of the earlier instances of like character whose sole motivation is a revenge trip.
The vengeance.
Like that's definitely how Sasuke got his whole vengeance stick is from Kurapika. And so it's just like, yeah, that's a line that Kurapika says. It's just like, the only thing I fear is my hatred fading. So yeah, that's a traditional main character thing.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's set up here to be subverted later.
Yeah. And this image really stuck out to me too. After they're on a train, they come up, and then you see like to really set in the idea that there is now a roaming like band of criminals that are running the city. Nobody can challenge them. And to really drive that point home, here's all these people that are strung up and killed who defied them or tried to interfere with the mob rule. And I think this was like, there's already like a little bit of, this is the first time we've like really seen, like, I don't think the tree was like, it was definitely uncomfortable, but it wasn't like super duper gory. The beginning has him cutting people in the opening color spread. But we talked about gore in Jujutsu Kaisen. Holy fuck, this one too also has a lot of gore in it as well.
Some fights can get quite intense.
Yeah. And I was reading the comments of like our first episode, which just recently went out. But it's like there's some people talking about how like, yeah, there's like decapitations and stuff in other mangas. But it feels like it's more visceral lately. It's like there's been a bar that's kind of just been lowered a bit for how visceral something can look. Typically when someone's like dismembered or something, there's like artistic silhouetting and things like that. This feels like it's intentionally meant to feel more brutal.
Yeah,
and that's kind of just a trend that we've noticed.
Yeah.
It seems like you can like cut off body parts and everything, all right, but like cutting somebody in half or anything, there's going to be some kind of stylistic thing behind it. Like in a few pages, there's like a big wave.
Oh yeah. This also like I love him. Like eventually, our friend Kagurabachi, Chihiro breaks into one of the little mob places, because he is on a like I think they mentioned that his dad has been killed at this point.
Yes. Or at least it's implied, strongly implied.
If not said, it's implied. So his dad's dead. He's on a revenge quest. And so he's just tracking down any old mob lead he can find for people who were behind the killing of his dad. And then we get this action shot is really good too. When he first lands and then he's standing on the table, spins around, and like just in one sweep, we see him cutting all these dudes. And I feel like in this manga, there's been so many really good implications of motion and speed just by where somebody ends up. They rarely show the middle of the action. Like there's somebody shows up later with like lightning powers, and then you'll see like the lightning bolt curving, showing you where he went, and then okay, and here's where he is. Like you see, like just like here's like the follow through of a motion, and like the rest is just implied by effects and the surroundings, and I love it. It really helps like keep this thing feeling fluid. It's really good.
Yeah, typically with manga motion, the standard is the before and after, where if you're, just as a quick example, if you're having a character throw a punch, you want one panel of the wind up and then one panel after the hit, after the impact. You don't show the impact itself because that makes it feel faster. The implication of speed is immediately implied, just by the fact that it's like in between panels is where it hit. That must be moving fast.
Yeah, and a lot of Kagurabachi, we skip straight to just the impact shot, and it's really good. I love how it looks. And so the person we saw being tortured is now being rescued by Kagurabachi. This is another good example here too. We see there's a lot of people losing arms, a lot of people losing head,
Yeah,
a lot of people losing just
Limbs akimbo.
extremities getting blasted, cut in half cleanly.
A little body horror too later.
Oh yeah, we get really gross body horror later. And it's just very detailed. It's not like, it's not the old Raditz, black silhouette or just hole in the chest or whatever. We got like chunky curves here implying it's like, ugh, I don't know. There's a lot going on. And I
Not necessarily
Small
a
note,
clean
I really
cut.
like the way he renders the jacket for Chihiro. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
Oh,
another
yeah, like-
good motion.
like this,
indicator.
like with like the
You
little
can tell
swirly
it's
thing.
if you go
leather
up
and
to
everything.
If you go up to the panel above this, it's a lot of black, and then he does like those hatching lines.
Oh yeah, all like
for
the waves
everything
of
else.
this.
So it's like it's black for the darker parts of it where it folds, and then the rest of it's hatching. And he uses that for great effect in motion a lot. He always has the hatching go with the action line of the effect.
Yeah, like
So,
that down
it's
here
a
where you
very-
get the circular.
Yeah, so when he's moving in a
spin
circular
here.
motion, the hatching lines are all in a circle around him. So it's a very good tool he gave to himself, because a lot of mangaka would just make it full black or make it black with some white highlights for where the folds are. He like, I feel like that's a very intentional decision to be like, I can increase the action motion with this.
Yeah, this is very much an action battle-y ass battle manga, and I feel like that is definitely playing to his strengths. Like I feel like a lot of this action has like, even in chapter 1 really does show it off in a very good way. This fucking edgelord. Oh my god, there's like they've really characterized in this early chapter that Chihiro is just some Avenger from hell, all the Sasuke vibes you could ever conjure. And it's funny seeing that transformation that takes place pretty quickly after that. And then this climax is in him revealing that the sword that he is using is one of the special swords that his father made. Because this is, I think, the first time we hear about this. We didn't realize that his dad made special swords.
The sword
Magic
master
sword.
imbued his katana with sorcery. They were enchanted blades
Ooh.
with special powers.
And then by chanting some magic-y words,
I
and
thought that was just called the name of the blade.
Yeah, that was just the name of the blade.
that's the name of the blade, yeah, for that one. But sometimes they say it for their other attacks, like
Yeah, and I
Kuro,
love this-
okay.
I loved this big
Yes.
goldfish shot. I like, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, that looks cool as hell.
Yeah.
I was into that.
This initial all the 2-page spreads in this have been very, very good. I feel like they all have been framed uniquely too. There's a lot of ones that take up the top part, a bunch of shit on the bottom, ones that take up the right side or the left side or whatever, like a bunch of very, very good dynamic action shots with the spreads and stuff. And then seeing this, even here when he first summons the goldfish from N10, you have this awesome implication of motion with him holding the sword like this.
Yeah, they look like they're swirling
Yeah,
around
you
him.
can tell that they're swirling around as he's unsheathed it and pulled it out.
Yeah, that is a good choice. Like with the goldfish, they've got those kind of long floppy fins. It really, again, very good with motion. I feel like that's intentional.
And cashing in the goldfish that were planted earlier, so we already get oh shit, that's
Yeah,
cool.
So, we now understand that those goldfish have likely some connection to this thing's power, or his just emotional reading or memory of his dad, the goldfish being integral.
Yeah.
However this is working. And like kind of here by the end of the first chapter, I definitely felt like it was like I love the look of it so much more than like Chihiro the character at this point. Also, I guess there's more to this chapter than I remember.
Yeah.
Chihiro showing is pretty weak there. And I feel like I immediately picked up like when I saw like the Kuro, the black one dispels evil, the red one brings in fortune. When I first saw this big slash where he's cutting everyone in the mob in half cleanly,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the black one, that's dispelling evil. It's like, okay, that's really cool, I like that.
Yeah.
So it immediately implies, okay, 2 other powers coming. I think he shows Nishiki as well in this one.
Yeah, I think
he
they
doesn't
just
explain
they
it.
cut.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
He says that he's using it, using the other goldfish here, and then we get I like this use of white space here, applying the time skip, like borderless everything. A lot of really good composition. And then, Mr. Shiba's opening the door and everybody's dead.
Everything all right in here? This is like a room that you could not step in without ruining your shoes immediately.
There's not a clean surface anywhere.
You evacuate your bowels when you die, people. Every dead body in there shit itself.
I haven't really thought about that, but oh my god.
That was Grant's big concern when he was having his heart attack.
It's true. I did not want to poop my pants.
Oh no, they're gonna find me in a puddle of my own poop.
Can you imagine?
That's the only reason I've survived
more
this long.
dishonor to come to your family.
The final
these
thing,
mobsters have a terrible diet.
Oh, of course they do. You know they're only eating a bunch of garbage. They're on guard duty. They work the graveyard shift. Nothing's open. It's terrible.
But yeah, by the end of this first chapter, I was like, this looks really cool and the powers seem neat. I think Chihiro is boring edgelord, but Mr. Shiba seems like a fun foil to him. So, I was kind of like
where I landed.
I was still okay with it. I was liking Mr. Shiba and kind of wishing he was like the main dude or whatever.
Yeah. And like we all said, is you kind of landed a bit generic. That doesn't necessarily mean bad. It just means it hasn't presented too much that we haven't seen before. But it's still very solid in structure, in skill.
Yeah. At least for me, whenever I finished chapter 1, it was like everything for the characters and everything seemed very generic. But the art is what kept me. So hey, I'm just gonna keep reading.
Yeah.
At least check this out whenever I'm already on the app for One Piece.
I definitely agree with Beastchurger's
beat me to
it with his assumption here. Ben, if you could read this, I believe this is how the scenario would play out.
We've been forcing me to read all the stuff. So this would 100% get in a bridge series that lasts for 2 to 3 episodes before fizzling out because everyone involved is 15.
Yes, that's incredibly true.
Like
This
there's still
definitely feels like
bridgers out there, and they're still like 15-year-olds, and it's just like, man, we all used to abridge, and we're glad that this is being taken up by the next generation.
They're boldly finishing what we started.
Well, they're boldly starting and not finishing
what we also didn't finish.
Yeah.
Gravitation Abridged 4 coming next year. All right.
Look forward to it.
But yeah, I same feelings here for chapter 1. I know I said at the beginning, but it felt very, very generic. Like I've seen this before, but the art's very good. I like the characters. I think the relationship, I was 100% with Ben. The relationship with the dad was the most interesting thing to me, where I was like, I wanted to see what they would do with that. We didn't get a flashback to dad yet outside of the beginning section. But that does happen more later. I do think they're gonna keep doing stuff with that. But yeah, not a lot outside of whoa, cool goldfish and cutting people in half. That's neat. Was basically how I felt.
Yeah, I definitely walked away from this chapter kind of going like, it looks like it's got some really cool visuals, but on the whole, just kind of like, all right, okay.
Yeah, I felt like based on what
you're doing
was planned for later, it feels like the mangaka probably could have included a few extra details to give some intrigue there. I feel like chapter 1 was kind of lacking in as far as just like unique elements to it. So
I get it though. It's so hard to make an introductory thing and feel like you hit all the high points without making it feel overblown and like, okay, are they even going to care? Are they even going to, you can't expo dump too much because people don't even care about your characters yet. It's like,
I feel like I'm making this about myself when I say it, but it's just my experience.
Okay.
I made a chapter 1 for a comic I haven't released yet. and it's actually structured very similarly to manga because of course that's what I studied. And so it's like the 54 page kind of pilot chapter that all these manga get. It's very similar to this. And it's insane just how much planning goes into getting anything right for that, because you got to be like, okay, first page has got to have this hook.
Yeah.
It's got to have this interesting character interaction to make something weird about them. It's got to have this and that and that. And then I'm going through it and I'm like, okay, this has like 4 pages of exposition. I need to break this up somehow. Then I need to have 2 action scenes. I need to have an emotional character catharsis
You're already
moment.
at page,
I need to do
40 at this point, and then you got to wrap it up. So you got to like really keep in mind your page count.
Like, it's so much planning that goes into this first chapter. Like the first page, the first chapter, the first everything for a comic is the make or break point. So you got to make sure that's all tightly tuned.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to get perfectly right.
Absolutely. And the I'm gonna say that at the end of this, I felt a pang. I was like, do I regret this? Was this a bad idea?
Did we sign ourselves up for
Yeah.
40 chapters of garbage?
Of just dog shit, and then we're gonna show up and have to talk about how this thing, and I'm just gonna hate it. Luckily that didn't happen.
I was feeling visually entertained enough at this point to where I was like, even if it's gonna like, I was already kind of mentally prepping for just like yeah, I really don't give a shit about the story or these characters, but like there's some really cool like paneling and like shot composition here, and that's gonna be cool. Like,
Yeah,
that's
at
kinda
worst
like
it's
where
a
I was
popcorn
already-
manga.
Yeah, like that's
Yeah.
kind of where I was mentally preparing for at this point.
Yeah, and the cool thing about manga is that you can just skip. You
Yeah,
can
hey,
just
guess
go
what?
like,
And then we hit the next chapter.
whatever, and then and hey, good thinking, Grant. Speaking of, so then the I don't think we're not
Like,
gonna go chapter
No,
by
we don't.
chapter.
Yeah, we don't have to go chapter by
first
chapter. and
was a
everything.
lot.
I feel like
Let's,
the first chapter.
we'll start skimming a bit more.
But that was I think good impression. If you want to, by the way, if you would like to read Kagurabachi and you haven't yet, and you're still watching for some reason, I will always encourage you to go read it yourself.
Yep.
But I know you're not gonna, and you're just gonna sit here and because you're one of those
Tell
guys.
me what happened.
You're one of those guys who's gonna be like, oh, you're gonna get spoiled, and then you're gonna be like, oh, then you're gonna be like, oh, I wish I read it. We'll go, whatever. I feel you. I see you. Think you'd like it if you read it, but hey, until then, let's talk about the other stuff.
All right. So chapter 2 is mostly a flashback chapter. We've got some remnants of the magician's tree attacking.
Mhm.
So we've got a bit of action there.
Yeah.
They saved the one guy, but I don't think he's too relevant.
Not relevant at all, really.
There's a surviving Yakuza who gets killed by the tree magic.
Yeah,
So the magician from before.
Horribly body horror. Can't really see it well, but
Yeah.
maybe that's for the best.
So the magician from before kills him. So they're kind of out of leads again. And then it kind of transitions to a flashback of what actually happened. And it seems like the magicians, especially with those marks on their hands that look like I don't know, flame, have killed his father, and his father's all of his blades have been stolen, the 6 sacred blades that he made. And so it's clear that the setup of this series at this point is to get those blades back for the sake of his father's legacy.
Yeah. This becomes our magical MacGuffins that we got to go find. And then we get the next, because we learned at the end of chapter 1, oh, he made enchanted blades. And then we get the follow-up. Ooh, every blade each has a different power. So
Yep.
we've seen funny goldfish. We've seen 2 of funny goldfish. Well,
Yeah, we've
I
seen
guess
super
one.
goldfish sword. The
So
others be.
we get the idea that okay, they might also be like wacky themed, funny little blades. And me over here, I'm like, is that's gonna be it? Just funny swords? Okay, sure, I guess.
Everybody gets their magic sword.
Everybody gets a
Whose
silly
magic sword is
sword.
the best one.
And then we're gonna figure that out. But after that flashback, we see a little bit more with them going, hey, turns
And
out
I
we
don't
know
know if
where
it
a
was
blade
kinda-
is.
I also don't know if it was kind of revealed the last time, but they're like basically 6 recorded magic swords that his father made, but Chihiro holds the secret 7th, the one that
Yes.
was never
Yeah.
publicly
That's made-
known.
Clear pretty soon at least. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the next chapter, I think, is the introduction of. Hang on, it always starts at the end. It's very fun.
Yep.
You're reading in the wrong direction.
We get the next. I think the other kind of a bigger side character. Hinao. I think
Yeah.
is her name. Who runs this little tavern, this little inn.
Yeah, kind of like an info broker for the magic police, if I'm remembering right.
Yeah, the magic police and some of the gangsters. come
Yeah.
here. Like she sells things under the guise of I want to say she like runs a bar is like the top shelf thing that she does, and then under table
surface level.
is selling info
Yeah.
and stuff.
So she comes to them, says she has a lead for the swords because she's friends with Mr. Shiba, and turns out it's a little kid.
Yeah. And then this girl shows up, and then this is when I was like, oh, okay. Because like she also shares like a very like the same like One Piece character design. So I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
now her I could believe. I could totally see if you posted this picture, be like, secret new Nami little sister reveal.
It's like,
Yeah.
all right, so that's gonna be an important character, and I'm curious what this is gonna be. How is this not a One Piece face, Ben? Look at that. Like
Because his
literally-
eyes are only
that's
half
a-
open.
No, that's absolutely a Zoro face right there.
Yeah, that's like literally One Piece. And then we get to see this girl. This girl is ran away, I think is what we're told.
We're being told that she is being chased by someone.
Yes.
And the only thing she'll describe is he has the strongest sword or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I
And
like
that
how-
immediately piques our interest because we're looking for strong swords.
Yeah.
and so Chihiro offers to feed her, and kind of like the next little bit is kind of getting to know this character because she acts like just a little kid. She tries to use words that are too big for her.
Mhm.
She's just kind of very self-indulgent. It's always about, oh, I want to eat food before I talk to you about anything.
Yeah.
The way that she describes it as the strongest sword, it's all very kid-like. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I love that. And she drops the hint that a cloud comes out of it. And then we get a a
You
cloud.
mean cloud gouger?
That must be. So with that funny lead, they lose the conversation because then I forgot this guy attacks in this thing. We have also at the restaurant that they're at, somebody shows up and kills a man, presumably with chopsticks.
Yep.
Just I didn't know you could throw it so hard at some guy's trachea, but I guess that checks out.
Hmm.
And then we get this dude showing up. There's a guy who makes little darumas that explode. Another fun
Yep.
little hint of sorcery, keeping up the little traditionalist theme too.
So we're probably going to be fighting a lot of sorcerers,
Yeah, and then
and he
he
tries
goes
to
and
kidnap the
yeah,
girl.
he goes and grabs her. So it's like, okay, clearly some cadre of evil villains are trying to get this girl for some reason that we still don't know. And then this is where I started liking him a little more because
Yeah.
now there's another wrinkle in this, and I was like, okay, good. Like if this was just gonna be Johnny Edgelord trying to kill everybody, I was not gonna be like happy. But having this little kid show up and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'll save you!" Like,
Yeah,
Good.
like this chapter definitely helped Chihiro seem less like the edgy punk that I felt like they were setting him up to be, to where it's going to be like, well, he does have a heart. He's not like, which I kind of assumed, but like
Yeah.
he is willing to entertain this kid in a way that I feel like, lots of other edgy protagonists would just be like, just shut up and give me the info, kid. I don't really care
Yeah.
about you and your
Yeah,
problems.
he does have a very
Save
like,
your tears.
he has a very fatherly approach.
Yeah, he
We got
immediately
dogs
kind of
barking.
comes. Yeah, the dogs are way into the idea of how Chihiro immediately kind of comes in as a supportive person. Like we're presented with this kid almost as like a joke. Like she kind of comes in and is just very much like, oh no, I'm being chased and I want a free meal before I'll tell you anything. So it's like you kind of come in suspicious of her, but Chihiro's like willing to listen and just kind of play this out because we know if a strong sword's involved, it's probably going to be a big deal.
and importantly, I think this was also a good bit of character development because like a Sasuke edgelord type would not do this. Like would
Yeah.
not like even indulge this kid. And I think this is
Yeah.
like a character twist that like he needed to be interesting to me.
This is kind of something that I feel like should have been in chapter 1 because I'm looking back on it now. Chapter 1 definitely set up for this. Chihiro is the type to protect people and want to help people, and as evidenced by his whole relationship with his dad, which is why a big
Mhm.
part of that chapter was interactions with his dad. And I think it's probably, if I had to make a guess, how Chihiro's overall character arc is going to be, is he's going to find out that he's better at helping people than doing anything with
Than
swords.
killing people.
Yeah, so that's how he distinguishes himself from his dad, who is assumedly he's always going to be worried about being in the shadow of.
Yeah, I think it'll be something along those lines because there's also that I'll talk about it with Sojo, but there's that theme of like, what was your dad who is your dad? What was your dad trying to do that I really liked?
Who's your father? What's he do?
Yeah, who's your daddy and what does he do? And Tyler, are you alive? Did you save the dogs?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I was just making sure you were back. I heard you get pulled away.
No, you're good.
You have anything to add to these first couple chapters?
No, they all seemed very basic setup for me.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, they
this
definitely
girl
are. It's just
showing up
like-
seems like somebody to just subvert. Like, oh, a character who's more bright and everything is gonna show up that he needs to rescue. Is gonna show up and make him open up a little bit. That had to happen after they set up the whole every day I start with fresh hatred.
I didn't think that was guaranteed.
When is
though.
this happening?
Yeah, there's always this fear that they'll just always be a dark edge lord.
I'm happy that they were
So-
a little happier with this. And then we get a fight with Explodey Dharma guy, which just more cool action stuff. We get to see Teleporty guy finally showing off that he teleports.
Yeah, I don't know if that had been revealed before this, but Mr.
Oh, yeah, it
Shiva's
did,
power
because,
seems to be
we-
warping
he's-
around.
He saved
He,
the one guy.
He
For
said,
the
yeah, he
tree.
saved the guy from chapter 1, and the guy.
Oh
got,
yeah,
like,
the guy was
sick,
getting
and it was, like-
tortured or whatever. That's right. Yeah, he brings him in the car and he like throws up or whatever.
and he got sick after being teleported, and the kid doesn't get sick, so it's like, oh man, she's been through stuff.
Yeah. Teleporty guy teleports, saves. Do we know her name yet?
She has not told him his name yet.
Yeah, I don't
I
think
remember
so.
it was a secret for a little bit.
Look at that. Look at that One Piece face.
I love the way she looks in the
Yeah,
panel
look
over
at
just
this.
sitting in the chair.
That's so good.
I do think she looks. She has a lot of fun stuff.
Yeah, she is. I think she's such a great visual, and like her little noodle legs, like her just anatomy is so just like kind of already a little
I hadn't
weird
thought about
looking.
it, but knowing what we eventually learn about her having little noodle legs may be on purpose.
I think it is, and
Yeah.
that's like I was already getting that. Like I was like, she looks like she's from a different manga, and I like that. She's the
Well-
break the pace needed.
Well, I don't know if she's drawn like that just to be like, hey, I'm the sillier, light heart
Yeah.
tone, so I'm just gonna be the chibi character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and we got to talk about sorcery that the this world's
Everyone
magic
can do
system.
it.
It's
Everybody
just
can
a
do it.
way simpler Naruto.
Yeah, like everybody can use spirit energy, but you have to like work it out and stuff like that. But anybody can do it. And then we get a cool little fight scene, but brings out a little fish and Dharma guy explodes. Wow.
Yeah, and Dharma guy starts talking about like, hey, you're gonna die just like your mom did, kid. So we start
Mhm,
getting a
yes.
little bit like, oh, like she like maybe something with her family is involved here.
Yeah. The fight
When he was
ends-
doing that at first, I thought he was trying to trigger something in her, like getting her upset to do
Oh
something.
yeah, getting her to like do something. That'd be cool.
And then he uses his third power.
Which is to absorb stuff. And is that the fish that's lucky?
That's
That's right.
Akka. That's red. That's the one that is to bring in good fortune.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel so stupid. Every time he's gone Akka, I have read it as AKA. Like he's like being like, this is my move. Also known as I'm just invincible. Because he does that a few times where he'll go Akka and then say something. And I have this whole been reading it as AKA. Bam! Like,
I'm so happy you're doing this with us.
yeah.
This is oh my god. That's so good.
Thank you. My eyes have been opened. Continue.
Oh fuck. Yeah, and then we fight Dharma guy. I don't want to linger on these too much. We have 40 chapters to go through.
Yeah.
Fight Dharma
We
guy.
win.
Get to fight Dharma guy and win.
Oh, we get
Shiba-
that freaky visual.
Shiba
Yeah.
questions him.
And then we get the a fun is his like no, his thing is next chapter because I wanted to like point that out. I really enjoyed that. Chihiro's like, hey, what was he talking about? And then she name dropped Char. I'm gonna say Char because it's the Gundam character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
it's probably
Char.
like if I had to guess, it would be that's why.
I need to see the katakana for it to know for sure, but I'm just gonna say Char is her name.
Char. Well, see, I think it's Char like the fish. We've got goldfish, and now we've got the Char.
It's like a char, like a fish, right?
It's a char of fish. I didn't know.
A char is a fish.
pretty
I'm
sure.
not very
I think
worldly.
I think I caught one in Animal Crossing.
A char is a fish. You are right.
Yeah, the Arctic char.
It is a fish. You're totally right.
Okay, so the katakana is sharu.
Oh, so it is Char, like the Gundam
Okay,
Char.
well, then never mind.
Well, I thought Char was Shaw.
Shah is just Shah, but like I guess Char.
So it's sharu.
Char.
Char. I mean, it's the same,
It's the same.
to English
It, like,
speakers.
to English, it is the same.
To English, it's the same.
Yeah. Well, okay. So is it? It's not the. Can you copy paste what it is?
It does have kanji with it, so maybe you can
Yeah. Give it to me.
paste it in that here.
Okay. Yeah. It you would still read that Char.
Char.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Char. So you get to see her having a fun little spin on the town because she's like, I want more food, and then they have this fun little gag with them going and grabbing all the different types of food. I
Real
love.
quick, we
I like
also
the
see
form.
that the teleport guy might not just have teleportation.
Oh yeah, when he puts his foot down and there's like a little
Yeah.
shockwave.
Crushing his foot.
He's really strong.
Which the last thing we see with him torturing this dude is basically him being like, I'll never talk. It's like who we're talking to is so dangerous. They're like we'll both be dead if I say anything.
Yeah.
And so like that's where we kind of leave off with them, and I like the next time we check back in.
Yes.
Just keep that in mind.
I do like the framing over the next few pages of her having a time look
Yeah,
at it one
this
page,
whole thing.
page
Yeah.
by page.
Yeah, this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Page by page, it's laid
Yeah.
out the exact same, showing it's just like he's going through the motions again and again and again for this kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
First I need a
very
sandwich,
nice.
but I need a snack now, and well, now I need something to wash it down. Well, now I need a finale, but not last. Next, wash down the finale.
Finale doesn't mean last. It means that he still need to drink something.
Yeah.
Just very kid logic. I like just characters dealing with little kids and stuff now. Maybe it's the fact that I'm older.
I like kids being written like kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
They need to be written like kids and not just like annoying nuisances.
This feels
all the
like
time.
someone who has had to deal with a daughter who is like, been like
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, because like I think that is a common thing of just writing. A kid is just an annoying obstacle to cause conflict because I'm a lazy writer, and that's what a lot of people will do. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you need a conflict machine? Just throw a stupid kid at it, and like
He makes a genuine effort to make the reader like her though. Is how this is working out well though.
yeah, and
She has all these little quirks that are just very endearing.
and I like needed this, needed this really bad. Like I think she needed to have a likable wrinkle in the cast, and everything with her has been fun. I'm sure you could find other manga people going, oh, she's so annoying, and I bet those people are 17. Like
I just want to see Kagurabachi kill more people.
I want to see him conquer the shit out of those botchies, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is like we've internally we've been calling them, or I've been calling them, the shonen meathead type who are just care about power scaling and fights.
Oh, I call those
So-
the DBZ fans.
Whoa.
I mean, that's where a lot of them are
Whoa,
focused.
man. My brother's a DBC fan. You can't just talk like that.
But yeah, the shonen meatheads might not like Char, but I think she's what so far is making this so far is probably the best part of this.
Yeah, I would agree. And then after all that fun stuff, bam,
Boom, straight to murder.
we get a dude strung up, and he's just like, please fucking kill me. I would rather die. And then we get our introduction to this dude who's got some funny stuff going on in his eyes. I don't think they ever really explain that in any way.
Yeah, we see him get out of the tub and everything, and I don't know if he's got a tattoo.
Yeah, like
Really
he
going
just
on,
got
or-
like
Like he's got a lot.
fish scales or
I
something.
don't know if that's supposed to imply like
The tattoos.
the after effects of his sword.
Yeah, the thing. I don't know.
But I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know either. Like you got, because they showed him in the bath at some point, and like that black that's just
Like
on
few
his
pages
arms that
over.
looks like a jacket. That's all just his skin, presumably.
Yeah, I definitely thought he was wearing a jacket in the bath, which I was like, whatever, man, dude.
Yeah, but this.
But then he gets up, and I'm like, oh, nope, there's his ass.
Yeah, and I'm here thinking, oh, this is like a water guy. Like he's got fish scales. And he's just got
Kinda.
out of the bath. Okay, yeah, it's Waterman. It is not Waterman, chat. And he says big fish. And so Waterman wants his goldfish sword back. That's what I was thinking.
But yeah, we cut back to Chihiro and or Shiva and the guy he was interrogating. Feet all bloody and destroyed. Just be like, yeah, this is who he works for. This is where he is. Like, we've got all the info we need. Like,
Yeah.
Mr. Tough Guy, I'll never talk. Clearly squealed while we were having our fun little dinner date.
Yeah, and then we get the reveal that we know that the higher up guy has Cloud Gouger, which is I don't know if they've name dropped it, but that is the name of the
legendary swords.
The legendary enchanted blade that spews clouds. Because then we get this visual, which is incredible, and I want to see more of this. With the street turning into a wacky Uzumaki puddle, and then this
just a big
pile
swirl in the middle of an intersection.
Pile of goons coming out. And then it's like, there's the kid. All right, understood. We'll go get him. And this is why I was like, oh, they're like coming out like a puddle of water. It's not water, man.
Yeah, but he's got the cloud gouger, and clouds are water.
Just water. You're right.
We should probably start skimming a bit more. Like we've been going for a while, and okay, so this chapter,
zip, bam, 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 bam. All right, anything about this chapter? Ready, go.
This chapter we reveal that Char has an amazing ability to heal injuries, and that's why she's being captured. And just before this, she was talking with Chihiro and was like, maybe I'll say something. But that's when they got interrupted by all the goons coming in. So presumably this is why she was refusing to talk about why that she was being followed, is because she's got healing abilities, and of course that seems pretty important to get your hands on if you're an evil bad guy.
Yeah.
So Chihiro kills all the goons to save her, and because she threw up from all the pain of them demonstrating her healing abilities, Chihiro offers her his sandwich, which is again just a nice moment to like cool off from the really intense battles.
Yeah. Sorry,
he's really good at
the sandwich I was saving the sandwich for later. It got a little squished.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And he's really good at like pacing out these little conflicts. Like it feels all back to back to back, but he always makes sure to include a very nice sweet moment and downtime moment between each of them to cool off from it. It makes you ready to jump right back into the action again.
Anything else?
Nope.
I think that's about it.
7, I think, is
we learn about that there's that the government also has sorcerers and that they're super strong.
Yeah.
And then that
like
there's
a police force.
Yeah, more people start trying to attack him because they want Char's crazy powers, and then the government's got forces there.
Sojo, the bad guy, put out a hit on him, like any price is what they said.
Yeah.
So now everyone's after him real quick.
And then we get one of the government dudes, Mr. Azami, shows up. Forgot his name. Thankfully, he said it in that speech bubble right there. And then we start getting a little bit more about the world here. Just like, oh yeah, there's all the police are trying to find it. We know that some of the blades are missing, but we know that at least one of them is going to be auctioned at the crazy big black market auction that we all know about. That's going to happen.
So Sojo, the guy who's putting out a hit on him, the guy who's after Char, is also putting up blades for auction. So he's kind of the linchpin at
more
this
than
point.
one.
And I think that's the big plot development of that one.
Yeah.
Kind of that chapter.
We know we're going to chase Sojo so we can get him before he gets these things to auction.
Good color.
Rama guy gets
Spread
killed
open
in
at
the
the
next chapter. Oh, I do like so there was a guy who main guy fought who has the ability to like show you trauma and everything. And he does it on Sojo, and we just get to see like floating bodies. I like that.
I think that's
imagery
later.
there. No, that's in this chapter, you motherfucker.
Yeah, it's hard to
Okay,
remember.
this part here. Yeah, I thought you were talking about that happened in the last chapter.
That trauma magician came and went so fast. He
did come in like 2 chapters ago.
Like,
this is one part I wanted to highlight, though. This moment here, I think, is a demonstrative of what I think this author, whose name I'm forgetting again, does very well with the because this happens frequently. This is going to keep happening. There's going to be like a character, and then within pages, you will be endeared towards this character, and then something horrible is going to happen to that character. Not all the time, keep you on your toes, but like, I was like amazed at how quickly I was like, oh yeah, like Dharma guy has a family and is like, I want to see my family. I'm so sorry. I want to try and be good for you. Like,
I'm not going to be a goon no more. I'm going to go home and get a real job.
Yeah. There's like literally 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of this development. And I was like, I was so in. As I'm flipping it, I'm like, oh my God, are they like, is he going to be part of the cast? Cause like other people have just shown up randomly.
As
I
soon as
believe
he
it.
took off his wacky little headpiece, he looked like a much cooler like main character type. So
yeah, like I could
could've
believe
seen it.
that he was going to stand around and then, oh yeah, his sister, oh, mom's not going to talk to you. I'll come pick you up. We can go see mom together. Goes in with the car with his sister. His sister's dead because you talked and Sojo knows that you talked. So now everybody you love and you is going to die.
Yeah.
And
it's so short and it's got a lot of good character moments in it. And it's kind of got that thing that's happened in My Hero that a lot of people, it feels like they don't understand, where it's like there's a lot of fun nuance to the not forgiving but still accepting of a person who's done a lot of wrong. And so it's kind of got a bit of that where it's like, mom doesn't want to talk to you. I'm willing to talk to you, but you gotta do a lot to make up for any amount of the bad you've done. And it's like not forgiving, but still just being on terms with them.
yeah,
And so he's like, okay, that's a very realistic and personal kind of conflict that he can deal with, and it's just very well written, so that when the shock of seeing her in the car with him and her body and she's already dead is a big shock.
yeah. I love it. I thought that part was so good. And then once I saw that, like I was already endeared by Char. I liked what they were doing with Chihiro at this point. This moment was like a significant high point, at least to me, where I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I am shocked at your writing ability. This is good. You managed to make a character endearing in 4 pages and then immediately kill them. Awesome. Super
Perfect,
good.
Yeah, because like
Uh,
it feels like something where like in any lesser story, it would have immediately cut to like, boss, I'm so sorry. Please don't do this, and just being like, you failed me. You know what
failed me, and
happens,
now
and
you
then
know
he
what happened.
dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's ultimately a small thing, but it's just like giving him the little bit of like, yeah, I left my family, and like they're never gonna take me back. Like just giving you just enough time to give you a glimmer of hope for this goon trying to turn himself around.
Yeah.
And then just snatch it away.
Many
was just
people
real
would not
effective.
do it because I think for many people it would take longer than 4 pages to make them be endearing. And so I think this
Or
is
just like the overall point, the reason why these 4 pages exist is to make the bad guy Sojo seem worse, like
Yes.
seem
Yeah.
like a really nasty
this is-
guy. So
Surprise!
there's
This is
like
actual villain development.
there's less effective ways that you could do that in 4 pages that
Yeah.
many more people would have gone for.
Yeah. I loved this part. I'm happy y'all see it too. I thought this was great. And then Sojo
Next,
kills
we've
him.
got the first conflict with Sojo and Chihiro. Oh, after he kills him.
Yeah, then trauma guy shows up, and then there is this fun visual here.
Oh yeah,
with like I'm gonna assume
child.
we don't
Sojo
really-
as a child.
yeah, because we don't really know.
Yeah, the implication is that Sojo as a child in this field of flowers is hanging people, just hundreds of people up dead, bleeding, showering blood all around him as like a 6-year-old child. And that was just kind of the childhood he led, is just this psychopath torture with magic.
Yeah. And then they start fighting. Now we got Sojo with the Cloud Gouger, and Chihiro is gonna start fighting.
We already saw one of the attack names too.
Attack names. What was that again?
Yeah, which he used my earlier.
May.
Or it was May, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even get to see what happened. We get to see the other cool manifestation of his sword, which is a big dragon.
Yeah, you got a cool dragon.
Yeah. That's ice. It's Yui. And so we had this fight where you get Cloud Gouger's got ice attacks, and Chihiro's fighting it with its own goldfish.
I wanted to point, it's like during their fight, like they're talking a ton about like this is like I think the crux of this interaction, like the reason why Sojo is even the first villain, at least in my mind, is he is just this crazy murderous psychopath. We have no reason to believe he should be redeemable at all. And he says that he loves Chihiro's dad.
Big fan of his work.
And it's like, huh? What are you talking about? The weapons he created were exalted. To feel a closer affinity to them, I could read everything I could find about him. So like Sojo has what he thinks is a deep relationship with Chihiro's dad, who we know has a deep relationship with his own father. And so then he's like, I got this sword. I was so happy because I was such a big fan. And he's like, why do you even have a blade that I've never heard of? Like, I've read everything about him. I know everything about this guy. It's insane that you have, like, if they haven't revealed it, they reiterate it here, that you have a sword that, like, nothing is documented on.
Yeah, like we introduced Sojo as a big fan of his dad. So when he goes, I've never even heard of your sword. Like, it's like, so this isn't just like some, like, it's not just like common people don't know about it. Even the people who have studied this guy do not know this sword exists.
And then we get the reiteration of the theme of the character of Chihiro, which is the echoing his dad. Is the point of why he makes these swords, why he does everything, is to defeat evil and protect the weak. Always. And then on the page turn is this face. It's like rolling his eyes so hard. It's so
cringe.
You don't know anything.
Protect the weak. That's cringe.
So cringe. And I love him following up, going like, I'm the only one who understands him. All the literature says the same thing, calling him a hero, on and on and on. And then he's like, there's only one reason to make weapons. I don't think he gives his thesis follow through here, but you know, he does the whole thing where it's like, all right, I'm gonna make my crazy dragon. He's cringed so hard, he's falling off the building that they're on, and then starts plummeting down, and going, the only purpose is to kill. And then we get a really good heroic moment for Chihiro here. Chihiroic moment.
Yeah. And it's kind of like revealed that that's what his Aka power is officially now. He can use it to absorb attacks. The attack that he absorbed was strong enough that it really messed him up, but that's the Aka red power.
And we're also told that this is like the first time that like two legendary swords have clashed with each other.
Yeah.
Like not on like, because they've only been used in a war previous to this.
Yeah, they were
And
used.
so
They were all on
using it
the same side.
Yeah.
Which
So
I don't
using
think we
them
even know.
against each other in a civilian populated area, there's gonna be casualties.
Yeah.
And so the goal of this fight is to prevent all casualties now for Chihiro.
Yeah, and this is a pivotal, important moment here with him using this Aka power to absorb the thing. Does this whole spiel about a lightning rod, and then we start seeing that Chihiro feels the motivation because he's like, no, you think you know my dad. You don't fucking know my dad. And I feel like this is why Sojo is here, is for this conflict of like bringing it back to his dad. I think that like, no, I know what he stood for. I like that motivation a lot.
Yeah. And I think I think the really significant part about this moment is just the fact that he's just like no casualties whatsoever. He's full on protection mode. Like that's what this fight is about. And that's recognized by several other characters going forward.
Yeah.
So it's an important point. That's very important, is that he's protecting everyone around him. That's what the most important part of this fight is to the world.
Yeah, and like this moment in particular too, I think also like if it wasn't obvious beforehand, this is like really cementing, I think, like Chihiro's like character development and role like going forward. And I like seeing this more than, oh, I'm gonna just fucking kill whoever killed my dad. This is okay. No, I'm like, I have this crazy god weapon. I want to like protect people.
Yeah, it feels like it's funny because like it's very much intentional. First chapter, Dark Edgelord killing everyone. Every instance where he's put in a dilemma where he has to kill someone or protect someone, he's always choosing to protect, so much so that you almost forget that he's on a bloodthirsty rampage.
that he is totally cool with killing people left and right, just so long as they are people actually in opposition to what he is doing.
Yeah. Then we start getting a little bit more with them fighting, and then the whole big fighty stuff. Anything you want to point out?
Lots of cool action stuff.
Cool action stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like any like real big character like.
And then the magic police show up, and Sojo runs away.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we kind of get our introduction to magic police.
Yeah,
surely they will be a big help in this fight to come.
Magic police show up, and then another great example, just like quick pointing out a cool little frame. Like, okay, well, we think that Char is in this car. She's been kidnapped. Don't know where she is. And then Chihiro dives in, and in one motion beheads the guy holding the leg and grabs this leg that he thought was attached to Char, but is just her removed leg because she has those wacky powers. And like all in this one sweep, grabs the leg, pulls him out, spins around as the car topples, is now holding him on the ground for the driver. It's like, oh, super good. I know we're glossing over a lot of the action because we got to skim where we can, but there's a lot of really good action stuff.
Yeah, I think these fights are like very fun to read.
Yeah,
I've talked
they
before
definitely
as
give it
kind of
like John Wick kind of feeling of constant motion to the.
Well, and I'm not a big manga reader, and a thing I've always pointed to has been like I struggle to follow action a lot in comics and stuff in general.
Yeah. How did you find this?
But I've found this one to be a pleasant read. Like I feel like I've been able to follow a lot of the fights and stuff very well visually, and I think that speaks to the artist's ability to portray fights and movement and action and stuff, I think, very clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is one of the very masterful at motion type of artists.
And big point is now Char's kidnapped. That was like the big development during the battle. Char gets kidnapped.
Sojo's gang has got her.
Sojo's gang's got her, and they're cutting her up to split her up so you can't find her.
And to what ends, we don't really know, but she's being kidnapped, presumably because we know she has crazy healing powers, and then they're going to use that for something. And then we get a lore drop that in the next chapter, get a lore drop that Sojo has some Daten Seki, which is the, if you know, lightsabers have that little crystal in them. This is the little crystal that makes lightsabers cool, but for the enchanted blades. This is just a little magic rock that makes these special swords.
Yeah, a rock that enhances your spiritual powers is basically how that works, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, you can forge that into a sword, then you got a sword that can maximize spiritual power and make magic.
Yeah, and if you the power is so good that if you were to just touch it, all of your spirit energy would just explode out of your body, because it's such a good conduit for it. They just you would die.
To the point where it's like, okay, the reason Kagurabachi's dad is the only one who could forge these swords is because like nobody could figure out how to touch it, how to get to it, how to do anything with it.
Yeah, so he was able to take that and make that into the wacky sword. This is the lore reason why the wacky swords are wacky swords and why they're cool. And so we're learning something that they have, now that they have a portion of it, they're trying to use Char. They're going to do this. I love this little break with the procedural where they're like, okay, we need her back, remove her clothes. Gastrocnemius muscle 2, patellar ligament, trapezius muscle 4.
We're just gonna rip off different parts of her and see if they're the magic piece.
Yeah, and they're just like really clinically going like, oh, let's just, it's a very, very raw approach to it. That like reminded me of like Made in Abyss. It's very, very good.
That's exactly I was
were you just gonna say
to bring that right up.
Yeah, I love it.
I was gonna say very airy from My Hero Academia, but yeah, probably similar things where it's just, you can magically heal. We're gonna make your life miserable to figure out how we can do it.
You're a tool for us. We're gonna rip you apart. Little object of innocence.
Yeah, and then if you didn't think Sojo was bad already, if we're using her flesh, wouldn't it be more effective to fatten her up? Don't be silly. We just have to shave it multiple times. I know referring to her as, it and all this stuff. Yeah.
And no way are we going to feed her and give her anything that could maybe be pleasant for her existence.
Yeah. So getting all of that contrast, all of this, painting Sojo as just this crazy monster. And Chihiro's meanwhile in the hospital after this fight. And it's like, okay, where's my sword? what the fuck?
Well, and this is also like kind of showing another aspect of Chihiro that we've kind of already gotten like big hints of, but he is a guy who carries a lot of guilt. Like he is now he is blaming himself for Char's situation because she trusted him. Like she was opening up to him about who she was and what she could do. And now like all he can think about is like the first thing that happens after you opened up is somebody got you. Like it's like, I am only reinforcing all of the bad things you have probably had to feel. And even though like obviously this is not Chihiro's fault in any way, it is like he puts this burden on himself that now it is because he did this, he has to do something about it.
Yeah.
Is very good. I think one of the things I thought was pretty clunky is that they did have Chihiro just come out and say, it's like, well, you were about to tell me something. I guess that means you actually really trust me now. You must have full faith in me at this point. It's like,
in case this wasn't clear,
that yeah, it's just like you could have just thought had him think like, oh wow, she trusted me enough she was about to say it. I know that. It's like, I don't know. The fact that he put it into dialogue felt a little clunky, but otherwise very, very well done.
And then we get the reveal that the little wacky the state police are here. And
I'm not gonna remember the Japanese name for them. They're just the magic police.
Yeah,
Your local magic precinct has decided to enter the hospital.
Yeah, and they've got a whole wacky cabal of magic sorcerer users and funny little interactions, fun little banter. If you can't tell by glazing over them, they might not be that
They feel
important.
like
they're
they
gonna be-
don't have too much direct connection with Chihiro, at least not yet.
They
Yeah.
exist to show how strong the bad guys are, if that's any indication.
At least for now, yeah.
And then chapter 12. Was anything?
just
I
kind of
did like
exploring,
this
like-
moment of him just murdering a bunch of people in the tub and just being like, "Hey, you better call the cops. It's gonna be a cleanup in there."
Yeah, and like constantly like with the same expression too, with like him rolling his eyes and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not too much going on. It's just him musing over the fact like, wow, this Chihiro guy said it was his father. What's going on with that? What's the deal?
And then the police show up, and they've concocted a plan where the magic police are a cloud gouger specializing retrievement group, and then they are going to retrieve cloud gouger, and then Chihiro is going to sneak in to the base now that Sojo is going to be incapacitated, hopefully, and find where Char is.
Which is
We got
very good. It's the kind of they kind of just lampshaded it a bit as like, we know you're the headstrong type, so we're gonna let you do what you want, but let us handle the actual scariest parts at least.
We're gonna put our top men on taking down the boss. You, I guess, can rescue the girl or whatever it is you want to do.
We're not going to convince you to stop from rescuing the girl. We'll just dedicate you to this small corner of the plan. So Chihiro goes off on his own. He's got some fun scenes of just like, again, playing with the paneling a lot. There's like 3 goons sitting at a table. A phone rings, and by the time the guy picks it up, he's sitting alone with Chihiro at a table with his with the 2 other goons dead around him.
Yeah.
He's very good at playing with time in that way.
Then the next chapter's them fighting Sojo, and we're getting a little bit of like interspersed flashback of like, okay, here's the plan, here's how we're gonna do it. And they're like lifting him up on a rock pillar to make sure he doesn't do damage to the city, do all this crazy stuff, and then
We get a
like how
breakdown
there's
of
really-
Cloud Gouger's powers.
mhm.
Yeah, these guys are just jobbers for him to show off his power.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. They really make you think that they're like gonna be something. Like for a minute I was like, oh, are these like gonna stick around? They got like a full page spread and everything, and like they get a cool moment.
Fresh off of Jujutsu Kaisen, I was like, is this like the other class? Like when we saw them for a little bit and did like our little, crossover with them. And this is just going to be like our side characters that we're going to have for the rest of the series. I'm not sure if that's how it's going to play with how this goes.
Yeah. They were able to figure out a fun little thing that after he's going to be desperate, he's going to fire his huge blast, and then we're going to bump him in the air, and then he's immobile for 10 seconds. Now we can go get him. And then, they can do all that. And then we get this fun premonition that the enchanted blades have a true realm beyond the theoretical. I can't really put this into words, but its source material, Datsenseki, is a natural material. Theoretically, its limitations can completely transform based on its holder.
Yeah. Yeah, and Sojo was talking a bit about it as well. Like he needs to learn how to use the blade better, connect with the blade better. So it's like they're both actively trying to find ways to improve themselves by connecting themselves with their swords.
Yeah. And this chapter in particular, I thought was very, very good. I think this one and the one after this were my favorites, maybe so far. These ones are really good. So we're mostly focusing on Chihiro breaking in to Sojo's base, and he is horrible. We didn't like touch on it much, but he's horribly injured.
He is still messed up from their first fight.
His left arm is basically unusable. He's still like, he's lost a lot of blood, and he's not like, they're trying to at least paint it that he's not the immortal shonen protagonist that like every other shonen protagonist is. Like, he's clearly struggling more than other characters like Yuji or Bleachigo would. In this moment, they've ambushed him, and then he is struggling to just run away. There's all these like crazy elite other sorcerers that showed up that are trying to kill him. They got with their own little wacky powers and shit. And then he chooses to break the lights and try to hide, which is not very characteristic of what he's been doing normally. So it's like, okay, yeah, he's really hurting. And then we get a lot of him lamenting, like, oh, if only I could like do something. If I could do anything here, if I was at full power, could I save her? And this is we start seeing a lot of flashbacks here. I love the use of like the small little panels and stuff to like frame the flashback stuff. Big fan of those.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, the best thing I can do is just wait. And then he's remembering a lot of what Char said about like how you could trust me. You know, I'll save you. And he's like, and I was getting depressed. Oh, I can't save anybody. And then this is the first like big dad flashback we really get.
Yeah.
And we get him with his dad coming out. And his dad's like, no, is it chilly out? Oh, it's getting chilly out. What's up? Nothing really. I just wondering if there's any point. He's trying to figure out if there's like anything he can do because he's not going to measure up to being his dad. He can't be his dad. His dad's too goofy. He's too good.
His dad goes like, yeah, you're not even going to get anywhere close to being like me.
Yeah.
It's like, no shit, basically.
Yeah. You
Jeez, Dad, I'm kind of hurting here.
And, but he's like, no, it's like, you know, you're like a logical guy like your mom, but like, that's cool. That's good. You know,
Yeah,
don't try.
Great quote here. If you always try to follow in my footsteps, it'll be a waste that you were born as Chihiro.
Yes.
It's just like,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. I love this. And then,
It's definitely the do your own thing. Don't try to copy what made me good. You've got to figure you out.
yeah, which is really cool. And you know, I was wondering with this being all like pulling a lot from like traditional stuff. I was wondering if this was going to be a family business type story. With it, you know, being like seemingly focused on a lot of like traditional things, but doesn't feel like it so far. And especially just in this moment, he's just like, no, like you are your own person. You are different and you should do the thing that you are good at.
It does feel like very kind of like a modern spin on it. It feels like if a story was made like 30 years ago with this exact same setup, it would be about becoming, do
it like I do it. Just show it like your dad did.
And all that.
Yeah. And I'm happy that it's not.
Celebrate what makes you different from him is the goal of this one.
Yeah. And he's like, whenever you get all logical, keep a cool head and be more flexible. And I love like all the gestures he's doing with his little hands. I'm saying you got to find your own shape to make with your hands. It's like, see, like this, or like you goof around and then he starts crying. And then we get this perfect cut. Son of a bitch did that thing where it doesn't want to work. We get this perfect cut.
Great match cut.
Bam!
Wiping his tear away.
Wiping his tear away. It's like, all right, I got to keep a cool head. Got to not to get too lost in the goop. And then we get to see a cut to Char getting pulled away for another thing. And then this terrifying shot of the doctor's eyes. There's no hope for you. And then we get to see the little goldfish floating around. And then the fun little N10 has 3 powers. And then they go through the whole thing you can do with cloaking. I don't know if that was like established that that's what that's doing. Akka's absorbing, and then Kuro's long range attacks. And then he's like, I'm sorry, Char, this is the end. This is like, if we didn't get the fun buildup of him, this would have been like just a Sasuke edgelord. Oh, I gotta reach into my own hatred.
And that's how he unlocked his angry power.
I'm going curse mark 7 because I hate the village. But this is getting pulled from, no, I like have such a pure motivation to be my own person and not like my dad. I'm just like, oh, this is great. It's like, I'll put into it all. Kuro, shred. It's like, this is all the little goldfish around there with the spread and everything. I loved this. I thought this was so cool.
It's very good.
I wanted to break that one down a little more because that was like a bigger character moment. That was fun.
It's a strong
And it
one.
follows it up with
my
Char
favorite part.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Really
this
good
is
thing.
my
Yeah, this is probably top chapter.
Yeah, this is my favorite one. This is when I was talking about this with y'all like earlier. I was like, yeah, this thing almost made me cry. It's this chapter. This is what I was talking about. We get a flashback of Char, see a little bit of what she's about with her mom, because we didn't really we knew that she like had some relationship with her mom because the Dharma guy was talking shit about her mom, like screaming and whatever. Now we get to see a little bit of that more.
She kind of gives her the rundown like, hey, you know we're special, right? And you can't just be telling people about that. If you get hurt and magically heal it, you can't show people. Make sure nobody saw.
Yeah. And it's like, well, why would we do that? And it's like, well, if a bad person found out about it, they might try to use it to do bad things. can't tell anybody. Like, did you ever tell anyone, Mama? Just once, someone I loved. It's like, oh, you're never mind. And then
somebody.
yeah, somebody. And then then they ran away. That's why you have to choose carefully so you don't end up like me. So I don't look like you. And it's like, yeah, because everybody learns that she's a freak and then leaves her. You aren't happy, Mama? No, I'm not just happy. I'm the happiest person on the planet. We get this
Because I got you.
Because I got you. It's so good. And then just get her shooting milk or something out of her nose. Another just like a goofy panel that you wouldn't expect from an edgelord manga. Just like I like seeing that.
This is a very One Piece-esque flashback.
Yeah. And then we get to see the payoff for Kuro Shred here. With all the little goldfish flying around and cutting everybody into pieces. And so we can basically do the, if you're a bleach head, this is like the Byakuya thing, where he just spreads out a giant thing. This is death by 1,000 cuts type shit, but they're just all over the place. It's great. And then he goes invisible. What are you going to say?
I don't know if it's like the next couple pages or something, but there's a real good, it might be closer to the end. There's a real good transition. Yeah, right here with these two guys, you see this panel, then be like, all right, then we're gonna turn on our cool power,
yes,
demon cloak, and like it happened so fast that I had to read it again.
Yeah,
where it's just like they like turn on their power, and the next shot is him killing them, like just immediately.
Yeah,
like I did not realize they were so quickly dead there. I thought like we were setting up for a fight with them, and then it's just like no, they're just like gone.
Yeah, that part's so good. I loved that. Yes.
Real quick in the same chapter, just something that I noticed that gave me a hard time reading it later in later chapters is that there's not really a hard rule on what is when we're in flashback.
I was going to bring that up. That's very true.
Yeah, because
like
they either do black paneling or like black around the paneling, or they'll do darker tone over the whole thing if it's like in the same page as a current event. But he also does a lot of like, oh, he's fighting in the dark, so the whole thing is going to look like that anyway.
Oh yeah, like this.
Yeah, like. But if you go back a few pages, it's maybe forward.
Well, it's not as dark here.
Well, the page before we meet the guys, or 2 pages before we meet the demon cloak guys. Yeah, there.
Yeah, because you can see like that's all grayscaled on the right.
On the right.
Like there's a tone over the entire panel.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, he uses black gutter sparingly. It feels like he's constantly switching between the past and the present. I noticed it is a constant through line throughout that he plays with time a lot and plays with different scenes at different points in time, right back and forth from one another. And he's not the best at conveying when we're jumping into a new time frame. I have noticed that. Yeah.
There have been a couple times where I've had to like,
and I don't think it's on purpose. I don't think it's supposed to be like, oh, what is it supposed to be?
No, I don't think it's on purpose that much, but I feel like at least when I've seen it, there's been a couple times, but like rereading it, I think it's pretty apparent through context what's a flashback and what isn't.
Sometimes I've had I don't remember exact examples, but I think one was when that information broker in chapter 3 was introduced, and she was like talking to the camera, but I thought she was talking to a character, and I could not tell what she was saying, but it's just like talking directly to the camera, and it's just, I don't know, some weird conveyance things with the scenes. I'm not exactly sure of the context, and it feels like that's something that this guy can grow at a little bit, is just contextualizing scenes better to make it the flow of a transition between scenes easier.
Yeah, and the in this flashback though, which you can tell because of the giant black borders, this guaranteed flashback.
Guaranteed at that point, yeah.
We see the flashback that Sojo already had her and her mom. I don't know if that was like ever said or like maybe a little implied, but here you go. Now they have both of them, and then there was this there was more people like Char, but all of them are dead. And then
a lot of them were straight up eaten because there's a rumor that if you ate them, they pass on their powers, and that wasn't true.
Yeah,
hey, fair assumption. That would have been my first guess.
And then
let's try it just in case.
I mean, I would if there was
I would have said let's maybe just drink a vial of their blood or something and see if that had any effect before just outright massacring the clan. But you know,
If
to
you
each their own.
If you ripped her heart out, do you think her heart would grow back?
Ooh.
Like, how did they die?
I
How
was gonna
much
say
do you have to cut them up?
we massacred this clan, so at some point their healing must give out.
So they must have a healing organ, and maybe that's what he's looking for.
That's what we need. Yeah, that's the part.
So if we just get like the little wherever the healing juice is located, we you know,
It's this one
Yeah, the
little
healing
gland in
gland.
your brain.
yeah, it's called the pineal gland, and it activates when you don't fat.
There you go. Yep.
We get the reveal that after like everybody was killed, one girl escaped, and then Sojo's got this fun little thing of just like everybody died, and you decided to bring another of your
Yeah.
kind into the world.
Your whole clan went through hell, and you wanted to add to that number.
Yeah. And then he's just clearly getting more and more of, this guy's a piece of shit, experimenting on the mom, experimenting on the daughter. And then we get this great moment where if only I weren't your mother, you could have had a dad and a happy life. I am happy, Mama. I'm okay because I'm with you.
The nice turnaround.
Yeah, very. And then, get them crying and shit, good emotional payoff here.
Yeah.
And then this is not flashback because it's not black.
Like
but
this part
this
is easy enough to
because
tell.
that has the tone.
Yeah.
It has the black bars right inside in the.
It's not just a dark area of the room. It's just sometimes hard to tell.
Yeah. No, I'm not busting your balls. I'm going. I agree with you. Because I was like, at this point, I was like, wait, so is this happening now? Like, is the like, oh no, this is the mom. This is the mom. And this is the past. Because I was thinking that these guys were like here in the past time or something. Like they did not make that obvious. But especially because they name drop the mom. So I was like, oh, that means this is also a flashback. Wait, no, this is current. This is the flashback.
I know for at least for Oda manga, they have like a fade in of the black. They put a black tone on it and scrape it.
Yeah, there's
like a fade.
There's so many like one-off panel flashback things, and I'm like, I don't know what a solution to that would be to fix it, and like, because it's not always just a section. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But we see the mom escaping, or at least like trying to help it escape.
We see Char escaping, and the mom going, "I'm staying here so you can get away."
Yeah, which is not what I thought was happening here, because I thought the mom was getting a door open, and Char's like, "What the fuck? Let me come with you." That's what I thought was happening.
Sorry, honey,
Okay,
you gotta
door.
stay here for mama.
Yeah, a bit of a conveyance issue, but that's kind of like meant to be the final piece of the context, like because when the Dharma guy was taunting her, saying your mom's dead, like that's the first time she probably heard that after escaping the facility.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm already happy. I want to be with you. There's no way you're staying here. And so she put her in like the air duct so she can crawl out and leave. And then eventually everybody breaks down, and then we get the fun, like, this is the interstitial thing. Like, this is a flashback. This is current. This is like they're like kind of talking about the flashback to give you more info. Like, the mom torched the equipment. She stole matches from the guards and burned a bunch of researchers. And then we got the kid back, but whatever. And then we get flashy here. Like, a lot of like time jumping stuff that's not like immediately obvious. Then we already talked about this one. It's super duper good. Demon Cloak. And then, nope. You guys get immediately decapitated. After all, you're the one who taught me, even after hitting rock bottom, if you just hang in there, you hungry this time? It's not squashed. You can still become the happiest person on earth. And then this panel is what got me. I was like, this is so good. Fuck.
I also love it. It feels like, I don't know, maybe it's, I wanted to call it a subtle detail because it doesn't seem that important, but every time you see Char with someone who cares about her, she's being given food. And of course, Sojo and the rest of the bad guys are purposefully starving her. It's it's just another added visual and tangible layer of the dichotomy between that. The payoff works really well because of that, I think.
Yeah. I feel like
Chihiro handing her food is her saving grace.
Yes. And that getting the extra motivation that she, not motivation, the extra like little layer there that like she isn't getting any food from him is something I didn't even like you bringing that up. I'm like, oh, it's so obvious in retrospect. Oh yeah, like of course that's how they communicate because she's got starved her whole life basically.
It's nice to give like a tangible example of a thematic connection there.
Yeah. This bit, like back to back, chapter 14, seeing Chihiro come into his own and like have that really good moment, remembering that thing with his dad, and just the I talk a lot about themes because I don't know, I look at that a lot.
I love themes.
Yeah.
Themes are my favorite part.
It's why you're writing. I mean, why you're doing it, really.
Yeah.
And the theme of like Chihiro being himself is so good. And you mentioned that being modern. I love that twist. I wasn't expecting that spin on it, especially from the first panel of him making the sword with his dad. I was like, okay, I know everything this is gonna be. I already got it. But it's not that. And also, we have Char, and she is also on her own great journey of development with everything that we've seen with like the flashback with her mom, learning to open up and trust people because she was told you can't. And when you have that life, you realize you can't trust people. It's like both those coming together. Be yourself. Be vulnerable. Yes. I agree. I love these.
Allow it. Allow yourself
And
to feel.
the "what took you so long" line is a very nice touch because
Yes.
it's like she never doubted him.
Yeah, like I loved this line specifically, like because it also seems like she's mad too. Like it's so
Thought we
good.
had an agreement here. You were gonna keep me safe.
Yeah, it's super good. I love this part. This is when I was won over completely. It's just like, okay, hold
Yeah,
on,
that
this
was-
is good.
That was real strong.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm fully in from this point onward, and it's still solid. He keeps going.
yeah, it's still been very, very solid.
Bada bing, Char is rescued.
Yeah, we've got our big emotional climax. Now it's time to fight the big old bad guy. Oh yeah, we do get this little extra lore drop that if Char tries really hard and really wants to heal,
Mhm.
she can heal other people too.
Yeah, and that was that wasn't established before, right? Like this is new. It was like
It's slightly hinted with her mom, I think, because there is like we see her like rubbing where she was hurt, and then she's like, and now it's all better.
that's right. Yes,
Like so, I don't know if that was like intentional or if that was what that was supposed to be
probably.
implying, but like it's slightly there.
Mhm.
But yeah,
This is the first I really got the hint. Like they just came out and said it, and I was like, oh okay.
Yeah.
I didn't really get any inkling of that before, but
And then-
it works. It's nice.
Ba-dump. Yeah, now we
So-
get that.
Extrapolating with the rumor always was if you ate this body, it would give you the healing powers, but
Mhm.
it turns out it's only givable if it's a willing.
Only if you befriend the body.
Yeah. If she loves you, is this just is it sort of like we got some lines crossed there? Maybe someone got eaten out or something and decided to heal somebody, and then it was like, oh, you eat this person, you get healed. I see how it is. And
I
thus-
see. Okay.
Thus,
Of course.
the game of telephone began.
Okay.
Ah,
That makes sense.
always that little bit of miscommunication,
Yeah, just saying. Maybe that's where this all started.
Oh, after eating pussy, suddenly my hip is feeling better.
Yeah, wow, my busted tooth came back together. It's crazy.
But
But yeah,
that's also part of the
yeah.
lore. They wouldn't confirm it directly, but we know it's true.
Yeah, we know it's part of
Yeah.
the lore.
But yeah, so now perhaps conveniently, Chihiro can essentially be mostly healed. Like it's still clear he's still kind of roughed up, but
Yeah.
she got some of his bigger injuries. His one hand that was basically unusable now seems to be back in working order.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the in the flashing away to the cops fighting
Yeah.
Sojo.
And
This-
luckily, while I was doing that, all of our cop friends are killing the bad guy, right?
Yes, exactly. And they get a
Yeah.
fun little showing. I mean, it looks cool. Looks rad. Get a bunch of fun little panels. A bird person is murdered or something. And then they've built up this guy who I'm assuming is going to show up later because of what happens. I don't know what he's doing here, but they said like move into phase 2, use it. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't think they get much of a chance to do that because his arm gets ripped off immediately.
Yeah, he loses his arm, and then we get to see this fun little thing at the beach where you get to see the remains of their little pillar that they made to throw into the sky, and with the one dude there without his arm sitting on the beach. And then we're just I think inferred at this point that almost everybody else is dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, we sent our elite squad to fight this dude, and like 5-on-1 or whatever, they
Yeah.
lost.
And they did mention like the big turning point for that is that Sojo could like have the sword like lightning its way to him is what happened. So it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's kind of like establishing a connection between the sword and the user without physically holding it.
Yeah. And is this the fight? Yes.
I like the end of the last chapter where they just zip off together.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the
'cause
ending. Yeah.
yeah. So the Sojo gets back. There was a bit of a time jump, and it's like, okay, so that was a bit ago where he defeated them. He's already at the compound, ready to fight Chihiro.
Yeah.
And then the last page is it's just a panel of them standing in front of each other. The next panel, they're entirely gone with some whooshes. Another good match cut to or just like before and after imagery. The thing I brought up earlier is just like before they step, after they step, and the in between is so fast you don't even get to see it.
Yeah. The battle would last a mere moment. And then
which had me stoked because that made me go like, cool, we're not in for like a long ass fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a one shot settles this battle. Surely we're going to have like 2 panels of a big slice and then it's going to be done.
Yeah, another
Well, it was still relatively quick, but yeah.
Yeah, but the like the harks back to the what you were talking about earlier with the feeling like this is such a modern manga in terms of like how it's paced and stuff. Like
Yeah.
and also combining with how Takeru looks to play with time. Like this is also has a bunch of fun little timey things going on with it too. I feel like this dude really wants us to be an anime, so I'm happy.
Like the way he's so versed in motion, it's very clear that he that's what he's intending. It's like this is how they're moving. This is animation.
Yeah.
And I'm just depicting it in the best way I absolutely can. So it's very clear that that's what he's going for.
Yeah, I hope they work all those animators to dust so we get it like as good as Jujutsu Kaisen. I hope those animators crunch and hate themselves. That's what I'm saying. That's what I want.
Kieran hates animators.
Bunch of cool action shots here. Very
but
dynamic
then it
shit.
shifts.
And then it shifts.
I understood that like surely it's not going to be like an instantaneous fight, but I was not expecting, well, let's just cut away to a nice conversation over snacks.
Yeah, this definitely is not what I thought was gonna happen. And it's I'm very happy it did though, because
but no, I love this. I love this so much more than let's just stretch out the fight super long. Instead, it's like, you know, the classic, like you really get to know someone through fighting them. It's like we literally get to see them have a conversation, I guess, kind of in their spirits or in their minds.
This is like metaphysical, isn't it? Like it's gotta. Like,
that was my takeaway. That this
I thought
is like
this was real.
Like
No.
that they.
But this is all
But
happening
they step
mid-fight.
out.
When?
They walk out.
When?
Right here, they jump out of the window.
Because they were in a window. They went through the house. You see them go inside.
I think the implication is like all of this transpired in the instant of them clashing.
I think so too.
When are they going?
Yeah.
When are they going in a window?
And you don't see it.
Oh, okay.
No, because
Crazy.
so the first page of this where the chapter
When does his arm get cut
title
off? It's just
chapter is
there.
dropped, it's just they're in the middle of a clash and then they're already sitting down for tea.
Yeah, like I think it is supposed to be like the
Okay,
the
but-
fighters dynamic
what?
of like
But I thought this was a flashback because there's a black line here. I was like, oh, so they zipped away to like have some tea for a second and get their strength back.
No, I think it was like they had their first clash, and then this is a metaphysical depiction of what's happening.
Yeah, like
And-
this is them getting to know each other
Because
in
like the
act
first
of their
clash, you
swords
see the
connecting.
roof tiles. You see they're right next to the roof, and the roof tiles are coming
Oh,
off.
they are. Yes, they are on the
And then
roof.
when you come back from it, there's still roof tiles flying everywhere.
See, I thought this was the start of the fight with him going like, and answered my convictions and harmonized with them and gained slaughter. Ching! And then he jumps out the window because that's what pissed him off enough to start the battle.
No.
No, I think it is.
No, because
I think
why are they
it's-
sitting down there eating it
I'm
still?
not
They
saying
finished
I'm
the novel.
correct, but they're not. I'm just saying.
No, I
all
get
right?
no.
I
Trust
think
me, it
this
took me
is-
a long time to come to that conclusion. Like I read through this section twice. Like when did they sit down? No, this has got to be a metaphysical mind thing.
Like I maybe I'm better at reading manga than I thought. Because I immediately was just like, oh, this is like them, like, you know, the image training or whatever, but it's reverse, where it's like all the action's happening, but inside we are kind of calm and conversing.
So I thought this was subtext, but then I saw this panel and I was convinced that they were jumping out of the window that they were just sitting by. I was like,
that's the
oh,
thing.
so that was
That's
real.
that's another point to the fact that he's just not good at conveying the transition between these scenes. I
wouldn't
think
go
that's
that far.
an issue.
I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say I'm stupid. I'm not
Well, I
gonna.
switched to in the chat, guys. Neither of them are hurt in the snack scene.
Yeah, because
Also
they
true.
snacked.
They snacked
It
before.
restored them.
Yeah, remember when Goku gave Cell a sensu bean and all the scratches went away? All right,
Here's
you ever
my-
had some good dongo?
Yeah, my dongo bean here.
I'm
I do
telling
like
you.
how here, like, we're just talking around it though, but he's like, no, I guess we're both right. My dad.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
What's
Yeah.
actually important in this scene, not the
Yeah, the thing
not
that, the thing that
dongo,
actually matters.
is yes. Like Chihiro has a very interesting response to Sojo's crazy death of the author. This is my interpretation of it.
Mhm.
And Chihiro's like, you know what? We're both going to have different interpretations. Just because he's my dad doesn't mean I have always got the best interpretation of how to do things.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very mature standpoint to have, especially because Chihiro is definitely a lot closer to right. I think it maybe enforced a little too much, because I think he flashes back to his dad saying like, "Oh, I don't know which way's right either. I just got to do my best with it, and you got to do your best
Well,
with it."
because his dad did also tell him that they are tools for killing people. Like, which is
They're tools for killing people, but you need to use them to hurt to help people. It's a nuanced thing.
Do you remember what his line is? What his answer for that is, Ben? I will. The only thing I will do is cut you down with even thicker bloodlust.
Yeah.
good.
He's not done growing.
That's true. Yeah.
I want to kill you more than you want to kill everyone.
So part of me is like, I kind of wish Chihiro came to this conclusion on his own without it just being like his dad's decision. But
Yeah.
maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's fair.
I can't wait for this fight in real time. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
12 seconds.
honestly reading a lot of this has made me just go like, I'm excited for the eventual anime.
well, I can't wait for it to be a 2-episode fight or something, and then the YouTube video of it being like a minute
Just
or
the
whatever.
fight.
Really
And
is.
it's going to be a narrator, and it's going to
No
look at the
filler.
camera, and it's going to go, "You were right, Kirian. They did stop and drink tea."
yeah. They dash off and then they go, but wait, let's have some tea and dongo real quick.
Yeah,
They
we've
dash
had
off to the
we've had one
reservation.
sword clash. We got a bit tuckered out. Let's sit down for some dongo.
Yeah,
and-
hey, neither of us are at full speed right now. We should both sit down and just have a little snack. And I
Come
think
on.
Parasite in the Twitch chat's got it. The dongo was made of Char, so that's why they heal.
Exactly.
Oh, of course. Okay, it's all coming together. I'm glad we have this so we can finally understand the deep lore.
See, this is what you come
This is why
here
we need-
for.
This is why we need to have these discussions with other people around.
Exactly.
They can
We would
fill us in
never
on
have
these
gotten to the bottom of
gaps.
this otherwise.
Yeah. And then this is the big fun twisty where it's like, oh shit, his reaction timing is so good, he can react in like less than a second. And then we get a fun little flashback imagery buildup of them working on the swords. Kablamo! He done cut him.
And then boom, he has broken the other sword.
Oh,
and
yeah,
on page
that's
12
right.
and 13, he stops again to take another little bite. He stops
Yeah, and he-
between fighting.
Pauses for a quick dongo snack, and then gets back to it.
Yeah, see? You would too, all right? It's
Yeah,
hard
absolutely.
fighting.
It is
And-
exhausting being
And
a
see,
sword
what you
fighter.
think is seconds is actually minutes in that little time breakdown, okay? There's like,
Yeah, I couldn't quite understand the timer. I feel like that probably could have been conveyed better too, but I'm guessing it's seconds counting
until he
down
can.
from 12 seconds.
It's seconds counting down from 12 seconds because that's how long it would take for him to use his thing.
I thought they said it was 10.
I thought he got better at it, so it became less too.
I thought that the end of the chapter said their next fight would only last 12 seconds, and so it was counting down.
Yeah,
Like
it was
how
just
long
like
the fight
that's
was
how
gonna
long
be.
the
I thought
fight
they
is in
said it would
general.
only last for an instant or something, not exactly 12 seconds.
Oh,
If they set
maybe
that
that-
up better, I would have understood.
Do you like how all of us think different things? Let's see. What do
Yeah,
they?
because it said the battle
back
would
to- go
last
back
a
to-
mere moment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like 16, the battle would last a
So
mere
12
moment.
seconds later. Is,
Yeah, and I'll have you know that Oxford's English Dictionary, a mere moment is 12 seconds.
Whoa.
well, it does specifically say 12 seconds later in the previous chapter, so I guess I took that as like
Oh,
within
you're
12
right.
seconds the
Yes.
fight was going to
Do
be
they say
over.
that? Where does
Yeah,
say
they do.
that?
Yes,
Oh,
right
man.
here. 12
That's
seconds
12
later.
seconds later.
Okay. I guess okay. All the pieces came together so disparately that I guess I didn't piece that all together very well.
But yeah, he Kagurabachis the shit out of the sword.
Absolutely.
And then
And he loses an arm as well. That's a pretty key moment, I'd say.
Yes. But I mean,
Kagurabachi does.
it's not that big.
Yeah.
Fucking.
And then he breaks Cloud Gouger.
He broke Cloud Gouger. And then with that,
Yeah, he lost an arm to break the sword.
yeah. And then after that, Sojo
He lost the arm a long time ago in the fight.
It was only 7
He
seconds.
gained that
Tyler.
timing to do it.
It was 7 seconds, Tyler. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, that's so long ago. You don't understand. I'm like, I
No,
can
I
see
know,
it because
I know,
I'm a
you-
fish. I'm related to
You
the
are.
sword.
You just perceive time so fast. Like goldfish
Yeah.
don't have a memory
It's
of 8
been like
seconds.
2 years for me since we started this stream. I'm dying.
Well, we're almost done, you little fish. All right. Soja's crawling up and he's like, let's see. It's just like, let me see. I'll fix it. It's okay. I'm used to it.
Don't
And
touch
then-
my wounded arm.
Sojo done crawls his way all the way down to how many flights of stairs to their how many
Like the
flights
thing you just kinda-
upstairs
yeah.
to go up
Yeah.
this building and then downstairs to go to the basement.
Oh man.
It's kind of
Uh,
let gravity do the work
and
on the
then-
trip down.
He's
the
really
stairs.
true. He's really pulling through.
And
it's like, oh, I understand the swords a lot better now. That means I can definitely understand this rock.
I can use the Daten Seki, and then before I can die, I can stand equal, and then oops.
Nope.
Kind of just the final proof that he did not get this whole spirit sword thing right.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, the swords chose you, is what he's thinking. Is the problem. And then, oh, thanks to your power, I could do it.
Yeah. And so we finally get a moment where Char can basically take ownership of her power in a good way. It did something good. It was not the reason that her family was killed or whatever.
Yeah.
It was the reason she was saved, was because she used her power on somebody good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then he explodes.
Yeah. And then Sojo blow up.
Yeah, and Sojo goes boom. And then we get in the abandoned castle. We get, if you didn't, okay, well you can't see it there, but if you had any possible doubt in your mind, Genichi Sojo's dead body has been identified.
He is done.
Dunzo,
Did not survive the
Actually
blast.
dead.
literally dead.
Luckily, it was a Sunday and no one was working in the castle.
Yeah, only him. It's a miracle, and he was so bad that it's fine, kid.
Yeah. And we're okay with him dying because he was evil.
And then we get the Jedi Council here with our eclectic group of maybe aliens going on.
Long neck, the giraffe tribe has decided to join.
I don't know what's going on there. We got a flash to the police, and then the police are all like, "Oh, Sojo's dead."
This is all
but-
kind of setting up the next arc,
yeah. We got
which is just like, yeah, we got to change our focus to the one being sold at the auction, and also Chihiro. Chihiro probably shouldn't have that sword.
Well, and is this where they kind of reveal that like Sojo's dead, but that sword's still going up for auction? He must not be the one who put it up there.
Yeah, they put it
Yes.
up under his name, so someone else is the mastermind of all
yeah. So
this.
someone else is doing that, and then also we get the reveal that they have the all of the wielders of enchanted blades. So everybody who used an enchanted blade, like we get this idea that all of them are bound. So every sword has a lifelong
Yeah.
contract to the wielder.
Packed blade.
And then all of the wielders are under cop witness protection, basically, or parole or something. We don't really know all of them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we see cut to somebody in some little thing, and these are a bunch of like, this is a little Shinto shrine talismans. This is clearly like a ceiling thing. Like this guy is not supposed to get
ward
out.
off evil.
Yeah, this guy's not supposed to get out of here. Is the presumption? I think we don't really know yet,
Mhm.
but that's I think it's like
They call
this
it
guy's-
police custody, but it could be imprisonment. You don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know how willing they are.
But they mentioned that the other enchanted blades can't be used because everybody else is arrested. Like we're not worried about the other swords, even though they're out there, because the person who can use them isn't out there.
It's the
Yeah.
nukes with the 2 key situation, but
Yes.
we've separated the keys, and like
Yeah.
no one on the same side is holding both keys, so we can't use these weapons.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Except for our boy Chihiro and that's a problem because we can't
Yes,
just
that's a
have some.
problem.
We can't have some indie agent running around with a nuke.
And then we get the guy who is the one dude getting a fucking Cloud Strife shoulder pad here. I love this fucking thing.
Yeah.
He gets this little thing over his missing arm. We didn't get to even see his power, and he is still alive, which is why I'm thinking that he will come in because he was their backup
he must
plan.
have more. He must have more to add. He was like their secret weapon in the Sojo fight, and Sojo injured him.
I don't know. This looks like the past. He could be dead.
He could be dead.
Could be a flashback. Could be over.
Yeah, could be a flashback. Could be dead.
Yeah, I think he's the one who is just like he's the newbie. He's like the one person who wasn't like fully on board Chihiro, if I recall.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So of course he's ratting him out.
Yeah. So now the cops know about Chihiro and the fact that it's a different blade. And they were like, well, we tried to find it, so we think Chihiro stole Cloud Gouger, what's remaining of it. And then everybody says he's like, all my friends are dead. And then Azami though is still like a friend of him, and he's like, but I'm not gonna tell the cops that you
Not
are
gonna
his
tell him
friend.
you knew him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that, but I can't say that another blade can go about unchecked. So sorry, had to rat him out.
Which I think basically still all points to Azami because I think they're all like, look, based on all the facts, it's clear you knew about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we get this really just setting up like the next little arc thing.
Yeah, this is all like post credits.
Yeah.
What's happening in the sequel.
Whole bunch of this, and then all right, we're gonna get somebody to go find the blade, and then we're gonna send our strongest cop, Hiyuki. They're calling for you. You've been granted permission to use flame bone up to the torso.
I love that. Like, what does that even mean?
I know, right?
Yeah.
What does up to the torso entail?
I don't know. Even now, I don't
You
know
got
what
the
that
whole
means.
skeleton, and you're not allowed to use the brain. You're allowed to use everything. Like you're allowed to use the
You
leg.
can't go full flame bone. You can only
that
do the bottom
ass.
half.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can use the torso, maybe the arm.
Yeah, Hayuki, which I found out later is a girl.
Yeah.
I
But
feel like
she
that's
is-
kind of obvious because the girls all have bigger eyes.
I didn't
Is
piece
very
that
much
together.
is also very much more detailed. I think this is another character that like this could be a different manga as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But when
but
I
I
saw
appreciate
this, I thought and jury's still out, but as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, we're getting introduced to our Vegeta here. This is our rival who's probably gonna eventually become our begrudging friend.
That's checked
Definitely
out
has that
so
kind
far.
of cool, sleek factor to it. Yeah.
But okay, yeah, we're gonna call it with the Sojo stuff. We want to
But
wrap
yeah,
up our thoughts.
I think
Wrap-up
once again
time.
we have bitten off more than we can chew for a single stream. But that's okay.
amazing
I
that we
think
keep doing that.
that's a good problem to have because I think that's like we like talking about this and breaking down our feelings and thoughts for stuff.
Yeah,
So,
this would
yeah.
be a different story if it kept up the same chapter 1 tendency and then it just sucked.
Yeah.
And
if it
then
was just edgy action.
I'd be like, yep, another edgy action fight, another
there was
edgy
some more
action fight.
fights, and then this cool fight part happened, and no characters were developed whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm happy that we got to have moments to go, yes, this character got development, and this part almost made me cry. This was very good.
Yeah.
I think certainly after chapter 15, but after the Sojo fight, I was super
in.
duper on board. I
Yeah.
was very in.
Yeah.
I feel like this has a very strong first arc. The very opening of it is a little clunky and not the best,
I agree.
but I feel like it really finds itself as it goes.
Yeah.
As soon as like the Char storyline starts up, it is pretty solid all the way through. And that was chapter 3. So
Yeah.
very good.
I really like Kagurabachi. Even like we haven't talked about it now, but like all the latest stuff happening too has also been
I
very
really like
fun.
the second
Yeah.
part, the part that follows a lot.
No, I like a lot what's going on now more than what's in this beginning part.
It definitely has a lot more pieces to it, a lot more it intersperses the story with action more in a unique way. So it's exciting to read through that as well.
There a cover page. Yeah, I want to get it on a little cover page. There we go.
Whoa, look at him.
But yeah, I kind of like read like 10 chapters at a time, and then after this point I was just like, I think I read all of it in one go.
Yeah, I plowed through this once Char was introduced. I got up to I might have got like 11 or 12 or something, but like after I read like 15, I had one of those moments that I haven't had in a while because like Jujutsu was like a big binge session. This one I've been like kind of treating as just okay, well every night I'm gonna read a couple. This one made me do the thing where like I read a couple and then I couldn't stop. I was like, well, hold on, what's the next one? What's the next one? Hang on, just a couple more chapters. I'm in bed, I could go to sleep, but like I didn't sleep because this caught my interest so hard that I was like, fuck, I gotta see what happens next. And that's great. I haven't felt that in so long. It was really refreshing. It was super fun. I love what they're doing with the characters. I don't think everybody got a ton of development yet, but it's fine because our main two have gotten amazing development, and I think the mangaka has like clearly demonstrated that they're capable of illustrating very good connective tissue between character motivations, characters having characters having connections with each other, and how that will inform like a bunch of things. Like later chapters especially, there's so many like rolling moments that are like, this happens, this happens, this happens, and all of it's like unfolding. Like I think the like chapter 15 is like, even though it can be a little spaghetti trying to keep track of what's happening, like what time and where, I still think that is one of the best chapters because of how it is structured. I love going back and forth, like seeing everything and how it's like all these character moments are like like lining up for a big payoff.
It's really interesting. Like he's very good at playing with time in some places and and it's very hard to understand what's happening in other. I think it's this mangaka is willing to be very experimental with the timing and pacing of things, and that definitely makes it exciting. It makes it's definitely a lot better for action scenes than emotional scenes, I would say. But the fact that he's willing to experiment so much keeps you on your feet, is very engaging throughout the entire thing. It's very exciting that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's very fun. I don't know. I really like the strong themes and the character stuff. It feels like, and I compare this to Jujutsu Kaisen just because that's what we read lately. It's just like, man, this is a lot more my speed because it's just like it feels a lot more character focused.
Mm-hmm.
Or character interaction focused, I'll say.
Yeah.
It feels like these characters get along well with each other, and then Jujutsu Kaisen doesn't have much of that. It has cool characters, great character stuff, but they don't interact like people who care about each other much.
And I think that's because of what Jujutsu Kaisen is, because that one's called sorcery fight. Because I think the fights in Jujutsu Kaisen are better than Kagurabachi's fights. But they have, because this one so far is like, I think that was my big complaint seeing the Sojo stuff, is like, oh, it's a lightning guy. Like, sure. Like, that's okay. It's a lightning guy. And and then water showed up. Oh, water conducts electricity. Like, sure. Is there another twist you have for
I don't know. I feel like, with all the motion and stuff we were talking about.
It's illustrated beautifully. I think the fights are wonderful, but in like, they aren't like
fight
cerebral anyway.
Powers and all that stuff, you mean?
Yeah, that's just what I mean. I don't think that's bad.
Like I think like for me that's kind of a strength, to be honest, because like I found like the character of Sojo much more interesting, I feel like, than almost any non like Kenjaku or Sukuna antagonist.
You like Mahito,
Kaisen.
Don't lie to me.
Mahito was cool, I guess, but
I guess he says.
I more immediately liked Sojo just for the like kind of personal connection he had to our protagonist, like with just being like, I have studied your father. I know everything he did. I know what he does. You don't know him like I know him. And it's just like the difference of knowing a man from a book versus knowing a man from growing up with him. Like two different things kind of thing.
It's much more personal connections is the strength of Kagurabachi over Jujutsu Kaisen, I'd say.
I agree. I just want to see more than I'm so burned out with elemental shit. Okay, you're a water guy, you're a fire guy. What's the twist to that? Like, is there another wrinkle? The goldfish. That's what I want to see more of, and the later stuff we do. So that's not even a complaint anymore.
Yeah, I think this was probably intentionally made very simple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the first bad guy. Let's give him lightning power so we can just focus on Chihiro's powers a bit more.
Yeah, I agree with you. But
I like a straightforward fight crosses arms.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I don't need every villain to have 20 rules attached to their power.
20 rules. That's not what I'm saying.
I don't need to have to know how a whole fucking gotcha game works to get how my
That's because your brain's too small. But yeah, I feel like this is playing more into the strength of, well, let's have characters do cool character shit, and I 100% agree with you. I'm way more into cool character shit because that's what I want. I want characters doing things for a reason. If you've looked into any how to write books or anything, you'll hear the same thing all the time. You make characters. That's all anybody gives a shit about. If it's not characters, it's because they want to escape because your world is so cool. It's either like it's one of those two things, and they're just like, well, it's modern day Japan but magic. Sure, the characters are the strength here, and you want to have cool characters, make them do a bunch of cool shit, and they've done it. And I almost cried in 15 chapters. I loved a guy in 4 pages.
That's really quick for manga. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of stuff. It just takes a while to get going, but this is it's hit its stride really quick. 3
This
chapters
might just
in.
be because of like how I kind of binged the first chunk of Jujutsu Kaisen quite a bit, but I feel like already in this short amount of time I've become significantly more endeared to Chihiro than I ever felt with Yuji.
Well, that's because Yuji got no development.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall very good.
Mhm.
We'll have to pick this up later, but I don't it
Yeah,
throws
there was
off
a
our
lot to
plans a
break
little
down
bit.
with this,
Yeah.
which was fun. What do you give it, Ben?
Well, I don't know. If I gave Jujutsu Kaisen a readie, then maybe I should give this
a series we all know he hated.
Yeah.
No, I'd absolutely read this forever. I'd recommend it to anyone. Like it gives me similar because I started recommending what was it, Undead Unluck to everyone, and this I feel like I'll do very similarly. It's like if anyone's ever looking for a new manga to read or anime when it comes out, I'll be like, that one's really good. Watch it.
Yeah, I would agree on a reedy stance for Kagurabachi. I was already like excited knowing that like, hey, this like as I'm catching up, a new chapter comes out, and that means next week another new chapter is gonna come out. There's gonna be more.
And presumably the guy hasn't been overstressed by work yet, so we'll get weekly chapters for a little while.
That's the thing I'm worried about. These backgrounds are so fucking detailed at parts, and there's a lot of effect drawing that I'm like, I hope you're using Photoshop, dog. I hope you're taking care of yourself.
He's definitely like I've noticed like for flashbacks and stuff, he definitely just wholesale takes panels.
Yeah, copying panels and just scale
copy
down,
paste them.
put it down.
Its backgrounds I think are mostly done by assistants. I guess it varies depending on who's working on it, but I know the way that some people describe it is just like I'll draw like the background once and then my assistants will draw it every other time.
Mhm.
Tyler, do you have any closing thoughts on how you felt about Kagurabachi?
Up till recently, it honestly like the more recent stuff that we didn't get to cover. I didn't really care for it, but I'm not really good at putting into words my shit. Because I read the first chapter when it originally came out and was like, okay, I kind of see where it's gonna go with just angry kid who's gonna learn life ain't so hard as time goes on, and it's got really cool art. And that's how I felt with it up to like I didn't read much past like chapter 3, but I would check in on it and just look at the art because I thought it was worth that.
Visually
Okay, so
appealing.
yeah, just very generic start to it and just kind of focus on the art for it.
Yeah.
If it ended right here, would you just been like, no, sucks?
I would have been like, that was okay. I don't know if I mean, do you have 16? What are you going to do for 16 pages? That's like 10 minutes of your life. You can get that done. Read it.
It's a nice little story if it ends there. Yeah. It's just fine.
I loved
I get
this.
you.
I was surprisingly endeared. I did not think this was going to be anything special, and then I think it really got me.
Yeah, the more manga I read, the more it's just like, what vibes with you better? Like, cause I watched Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched a lot of anime and stuff this year. It's just like some stuff I just vibed with better, and I couldn't tell you exactly what. Like I couldn't say a show was exactly better or worse than another.
That's because
I'm
it's
just over here, like the last 2 hours going, I don't know, am I dumb? Y'all pogged off on this so hard. I'm like, the choreography for the action stuff seems really cool.
And it is
Everything
cool.
else seems very,
of
very
thought.
basic.
You
And,
do
like-
read a lot more manga than we do.
Also true, yeah. You're maybe seeing things that are just like, nah, this is This is a
Like,
Does this-
tried thing.
Yeah, it just
Yeah,
happens
I just-
happens a lot in manga.
for me, I just turn off my brain and I just see the patterns, and like unless it's done in a fun, different way, I just say like it's just that, and like I don't know. I wish I
that's
had
fair.
more examples to pull up, but like Char, it feels like the situation that they pull for her is like copy pasted from a bunch of other stuff. It's just like, okay, well, this girl shows up, we need to go save whatever. I feel like that's happened in a bunch of other things that I've read, but I feels dumb because I don't have any example to point to.
Well, Tyler, you need to visit a little website called TV Tropes and get a list of things that we're not noticing that have been done a million times in media.
I've heard TV
Yeah.
tropes mentioned a billion times. I've never actually been.
That's exactly what it is.
That's
TV
that-
tropes.
That is a thought I've had more frequently. We're all in the same age group, but as we get older, we're going to be seeing things in media repeat over and over again. And I'm always this is my personal take on it. I'm going to start seeing stuff over and over again now that I've noticed this pattern. And I need to check myself and say, this is the first time someone's seeing this. This is I just remember my roommate, Chad, he was watching Jujutsu Kaisen, and he was like, I absolutely hate Nanami because he's a straight ripoff of Yoshikage Kira from JoJo's, and the domain expansion stuff, that's just reality marbles from Fate, or whatever they're called. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
And it's just like, yeah, but everything in media is lifted from everything else.
Yes,
Like,
that's everything
Yeah.
is. That's the thing that I don't understand
think
about this.
Nothing
Like
new
this
under
hang up
the
is,
sun.
oh,
I
this
think-
is a reference
well-
to this. This is inspired from that. No shit. And if you trace that all the way down, they got it from something else too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I'm not
so
having
it's-
fun with the way this one is doing it, is what I am saying.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that's
that's
allowed.
fine.
That's perfectly fine.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, I think maybe a lot of it comes from just like how well you vibe with it at this point. It's just like, yeah, it just like it's stuff you've already seen before. I've definitely seen the kid, like
It is
Leon
just-
the professional type. The killer takes in a little kid and softens up because of that. But it's just like, it's done well. It vibes with me, and therefore it's good. You know.
It is just, damn, I really like this red color on my car. I'm going to put it on this other car. Why does that look ugly?
Yeah.
I think goes back to what I think is like, there is some truth to that level of like, most writing advice, at least modern writing advice, will tell you that the only fucking thing that matters is characters. Like plot beats have been done, and they will be done forever. You will
They're
see the
updating
same
that
type of
to now be
story.
lore too.
Yeah, and like if it's not your characters, it's your world. You have a unique system, or you have a unique character, and more importantly, it's just like you try to make that person a believable person, and you like these people enough that you want to learn more about them and see what they do in these scenarios, and then you get invested because you like them as fake people. And it is a really good illusion that, humans can do, where they can magically put themselves inside the brain of a character or think that that character is real, so much so that you get all the glue eaters on Twitter getting mad at voice actors voicing characters that aren't real because of what I think a character did. Because you just like room
I
temperature
can't believe you
IQs.
willingly voice this criminal.
Yeah, like people,
Yeah.
some people
Or
will
people-
believe that this is real.
People say they always want to kill Tatsuki Fujimoto for making Denji sad.
Oh my
and it's
God.
just like,
Because they have no concept of fiction, because that is the power of stories. They can do that. And in a
Yeah.
way, like, if Goku gets talked about forever, isn't he more real than somebody that nobody else talks about? Like, there is something to that if we want to get all meta with it. But I think that is like you could look at TV tropes all day and find like, oh, this is the Lancer character who has a fractured past and a scar and a chip on his shoulder, or whatever fucking trope you want to name. That
Yeah.
doesn't really boil down anybody's essence. Bitch, I could boil you down to that, motherfucker. I don't think that's anything to weigh somebody by. But I will say that, like, as you're totally right, that as we like consume stuff, as we engage in art, you will see patterns because those people were inspired by things. And if you've seen those things, you will see them too. What I like about it is I like seeing the only thing that really matters is execution. I've seen somebody have magic swords. It was called Bleach, but this is different in its own way that I appreciate. It is way more character driven. It's way more, I like the playing with time. Bleach doesn't interweave flashbacks in its narratives to have a catharsis with characters. They don't do that shit. And that's cool. And I think that the takeaway for a lot of this is that some stuff might just not be your thing, and that's okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
I mean, like you said, if
it's
it all
fine.
boils down to characters, what if it's a character of a type of person you don't vibe with? Then
Exactly. Like Luffy.
It's, you're
Fucking
not,
hate
you're
that
not
guy.
stupid for not
Fucking asshole.
appreciating it then.
Thank you, man. That's what I'm saying.
So Tyler, when you said, "Are you stupid for not getting this?" It's just,
Yeah.
hey, you're allowed.
Yeah. Can everybody leave a comment and tell
Yeah,
Tyler?
everybody tell
Yeah,
Tyler.
everyone tell me
how-
I'm stupid in the comments.
No, I say I was,
No,
I
the
was just
opposite.
saying it's not stupid. Tell us how much you hated Kagurabachi and you think it's mid, and then Tyler can feel better about himself.
Yeah, everyone, I want the flood of comments saying this is terrible. The memes were wrong.
Mid. Oh, actually, you know what? I think Tyler's mad that it's goldfish, not koi fish. Is that?
I
there
am
you go,
partially
yeah.
really upset by that.
Okay,
It was
That's
so
it.
fucking close. It was so
It's a
damn
little,
close.
It's like touched a
It's
little
like we
too
got
close
your
to home.
cousin.
Okay,
Yeah. See.
Just another dirty fish that's not me.
Some offshoot of this family got to be the star.
Anything else you want to say, gamers? That seems good to me.
I think that's a good way to end it.
I'll Kagurabachi, see you at the polls.
Good times. Zone.